Welcome to issue 270 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Con of Heroes, a fan convention about Marvel Champions, a card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the community. We'll discuss those games we played, the swag we got, the blur that is 4 days of playing Marvel Champions nonstop. I am one of your hosts, Steve, and joining me tonight is Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Steve. You forgot to mention the con crud.
Oh, the con crud. Are you suffering from con crud already?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, boy.
My gosh.
Okay.
Not surprising, but
that's how you know you had a good time.
I'll hold up. Oh, it was fun. It was a blast.
Yeah. Well, and not joining us tonight is Daniel. He's still sour that he didn't get to go, so he has nothing to contribute, and he did not want to be here and cry. So we're gonna just.
Hey, do you remember last year when I was feeling all those things and I still hopped on the show?
I know you're a better man than him.
Okay, cool.
Or he's a better villain than you. I'm not
audio.
sure. Yeah. We know. So what are we going to do tonight? What we're going to do tonight is we're going to have a whole bunch of different folks on that we saw at the con. Maybe we played games with them. We're just going to have them on in little segments. We're just going to kind of move from segment to segment. You'll hear a little audio in between. And that's it. We're going to recap all of Con of Heroes 2025. You ready for it, Mike?
Let's dive in.
Okay. All right, so I am here with Joss Aru. We have just gotten back from the con. Joss, how's it going?
It is great. As I mentioned when we were chatting before we started, I managed to cancel all my in-person meetings today. So today is my first full day at home, and I did not go to work.
That is nice. Yeah, I've been back for 2 days now in the real world since the con was over, and I am sad because of it. So,
and I think Joss Rue Jr. has our cards almost completely organized and back into where they all live.
Wow, that's fast. That's good. Mine are stacked on the kitchen table, and they will stay there for another few days.
Much to your family's chagrin.
And there's a bunch of other stuff on the table. Nobody notices the cards at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking Con of Heroes. Let's do a quick. For me, it was 4 full days. It sounds like maybe you had 5 days there. What was your schedule like? What'd you do when you got there? What was up for you?
Yeah. We showed up Wednesday evening. And then left Monday morning. Yeah, last year a bunch of people showed up on Wednesday, and I got jealous, so I decided I wanted to show up on Wednesday too.
Okay. Yeah, I came in Thursday morning, which I thought was pretty good, and I did roll into the hotel, and then you were sitting there playing a game already.
Right.
Yeah, which made me jealous.
Like
you said.
And then Thunderbolts. Went and actually watched the Thunderbolts movie while we were there as well. So that was the only kind of off-campus excursion. Yeah,
a whole bunch of people went to Thunderbolts. Did you go with the whole crew?
Yeah. There's a 3:15 on the first day.
Okay. I thought some people went in the evening as well. So maybe there was 2 groups that went to see the movie. Yeah, I think that might have happened. Okay, so you got there Wednesday night. You started playing games. You took a little break to see the Thunderbolts. You left on Monday morning. Do you know how many games you might have played? Are you one of those guys who logs everything?
I do. I have a really nice little logbook that I keep, and I was, looking at my last year and this year and all that sort of fun stuff. I played, given the fact that I played, I got a good sleep every night, but given the fact that I was playing almost the entire time other than going to Thunderbolts, I only logged 22 games, which, you might hear from Boomguy later. I think he got 40 in, so, there's...
I saw his 40 and I was like, that's crazy. And I played a lot. I did not go to sleep until after midnight every night. And I was up, for breakfast, and I ate and immediately started playing. But I don't think I got 40 games in. I didn't log anything. It was just one more thing to slow me down, maybe. I don't know.
Well, tell me, because this is the thing that I think really colors how all this works, is how do you approach the difficulty you want to play and those sorts of things?
So for the Con of Heroes, I played mostly standard or standard 3. I played a standard 2 game. I played an expert game. A couple skirmish games because of time and things that were happening. So it's like, well, if we just make this a skirmish game, we can go to the FFG panel, or everyone's going to dinner, so like we'll just call it here, kind of thing. So a couple of things like that. How about you? Do you play standard, expert, expert 12? What's the?
Yeah, expert 12. A lot of expert 12. No, I think mostly standard 3, expert 1. I made a bunch of, or a small handful of extra scenarios that were kind of meant to be even a little higher in difficulty as well. Some intentional skirmish matches as opposed to your incidental skirmish matches. So I think I figured out this con that if you want to play skirmish, a good thing to do is increase the villain health by maybe about 33% compared to what it would normally be, so that you can't just kind of go for a really early push on it, and it still feels like there's a bit of a narrative arc on getting past that villain, but you have a much shorter game still.
I think I like that. It's a lot shorter, but you still have that, like, you still need to build up a little bit because you can't. Yeah. Now we know you like difficulty because you run the MODOK League.
Agreed.
And that, I hear, is insanely difficult sometimes.
Losses are common.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you play a lot of expert. And we sort of avoided expert simply because of the added health on the villain, and we didn't want the games to go another hour. I played mostly 4-player games, and a few 3-player games, a couple 2s, and a 4-player game can really run long, even with everybody there who knows what they're doing and trying to like speed it up. Did you play mostly 4-player, or what was your player count?
Yeah, I was mostly 4 as well, and kind of like you, a few 3s and a couple of 2s. Yeah, so I played 22 games. I lost 5, and
Okay.
I think that's probably kind of where I'm, maybe a little bit more. I don't mind losing a bit more than that. So that suits me pretty well. I like the games where you are on the ropes early and you just spend even, a few hours trying to slowly figure out how to tread water long enough that you actually take control of the game. That brings me a lot of joy. I don't know. Did you have any games like that?
Yeah, I think I lost 4 or 5 games also.
Yeah.
We had a couple that were turn 2 or 3 where it could have easily been a loss, and we managed to just like hold on just enough to turn the corner. Yeah. All right. So who'd you lose? Which villains? We like to hear this. Which villains had a victory for you?
Yes.
Since you logged it, you must know, right?
I do. I definitely do. Well, importantly, because I think this was the most fun one, we lost to the Mysterio challenge. Did you play any of the challenges?
Yeah, we played the Sandman, the Risky Business. What were the other challenges? See it?
Mysterio and Sinister Six.
I don't think we did the Mysterio one. Sinister Six. What was that challenge? Oh man, refresh my memory.
Their forced responses go off whether or not they actually damage you.
We didn't do that.
Go off.
Yeah, we didn't do that one. We did the other 2. I did play Sinister Six, but we didn't play the challenge.
So the Mysterio challenge was that after you mulligan and have your starting hand, you shuffle your Nemesis set into your deck.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't even see that.
That one was really fun. So around, turn 3-ish, maybe turn 4, almost everybody has an obscene number of encounter cards in front of them, and we had, I can't remember if it was turn 3 or turn 4, but we had 28 encounter cards in front of us at the table.
Ooh, nice.
And they were
Star-Lord level.
Yeah, they were mostly Nemesis set, right? So
right. Maybe a deja vu.
Yeah. So that was at least a 4-hour game. It might have been a 5-hour game. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why out of 4 days you only get 20-some games in, because the game lasts
Exactly.
for 5 hours, and then you need a little 2-minute break afterwards, or more than that, right? Because it's time for dinner now. You started at noon, and okay,
exactly.
Okay,
but that one was super fun.
Yeah, that sounds it. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get to play that with Mike. I played Mysterio a few times, so I have to make a confession here. We get this cool pack of cards from the con, and I never open it. I didn't open it my set. I just played. Yeah, I just played with other people. I did that last year too. So like all my stuff's still sealed from every con. So I just let somebody else open it. I don't have to worry about losing my card or doing whatever. So if they didn't bring it out, I didn't like push for it. So.
Right, so that's why you didn't even look at the challenge. I get really excited about the challenges, so that's kind of the first thing I go to.
Yeah. Did you do the campaign? Now, did you play the campaign?
We did the campaign. We only did 2 games for the campaign. We beat one of the whatever they were, the symbiotes that
Symbiotes.
you beat,
Yep.
and then we just kind of went straight to the grand finale. So the grand finale was actually the Mysterio challenge. And then the first game we played was Thunderbolts with the flight modular.
Okay. Yeah, the
that was very
jetpack.
fun.
Yeah. So I played one game with the jetpack stuff. We did do the campaign. We did three games, and for 2 of the campaigns we used the challenge cards.
Mm.
And so it was I think Sandman with the challenge and the campaign cards.
All that indirect damage.
Yeah, that was tough. Actually, that was our second game. Our first game was Risky Business with the challenge card, which made it pretty fun in the campaign. And then our third was Kang in the campaign, and we lost the first time, and then we played it again, and won the second time. So
Kang is slow.
yeah, we played with somebody who had never played Kang 4-player, so it was really nice to have them be able to see like what was going on, and like they hadn't really experienced that being split up piece and stuff like that. So that was fun to play with them for the first time. And then trying to save them because they ended up the ones that needed the most help. They weren't ready for it.
They didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, they didn't know what to expect really. And like we were, or that just happened that they couldn't, they got the raw deal. So
what was your deck that you took the jetpack to?
Nick Fury and Nick Fury Aggression, which was already going aerial, but only using his car. So having the jetpack, sped things up until the car showed up. So
well, it was a dive bomb type of one, or something else?
It was dive bomb and bombs away and get over here and but no hone technique. So
okay.
Yeah. The hope was to spread out the damage, get all the minions and do that sort of thing. So but he spent most of his time, I think, like most decks, in stealth until I had enough tokens, and then do a big splash damage, and then flip back to stealth right away. So, who'd you bring for heroes? Like, who's your favorite hero that you brought?
Well, so one of the things I do, or I've done every year, is I bring a hero in each of the aspects, so that I have a chance to maybe get to enjoy a hero a little more than I already do. So last year I brought Valkyrie, this year I brought Wasp. So heroes I think that if I maybe gave them a little bit more time, I might enjoy them more. And so that was really fun. I got to play 5 different Wasp decks, and increased my appreciation of her. And I always bring a bunch of wonky Adam Warlock decks because you just can always have access to really weird combos. So that's who I actually used for the aerial. And I made the Adam Warlock aerial deck that had one of every possible aerial card that you can include.
Okay, that's cool. Yep.
A lot of those are really, really useless cards.
But they were in there and you were playing with them. That's the
They
important
were
part.
in there. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think I ended up playing a bunch of them, right? Because I would get them in my hand, and I just always had better stuff to do.
Yeah. Hey, those cards cost the same amount of money as the ones you actually play. So,
yeah, they often get turned into proxies.
How about the massive multiplayer that they had? So we played a whole like symbiote thing going on. Did you play in that?
Yep. So yeah, I played with a couple of my buddies from Solo Champions League, Babycorn and Astrodar, and my son Joshua Jr. and we took that one on. It was, I don't know how it was where you were at, but it felt, compared to some of the other ones, it felt kind of hard to know what was going on overall. It felt so big. Right? KennedyHawk would come by and you'd give him some numbers, and then all of a sudden you'd hear there's 1,000 health left, and wonder to yourself, is that a lot of health? Is that very little health?
Well, he came by and he said, hey, he's now just under 1,000 health. I never found out how much health he had total. But if it was like 20 a person and there were 150 people, right? It's like 3,000 health or something. Yeah. I played that with Boomguy, Tony Fanchi from FFG.
Yep.
And somebody else. I'm sorry, somebody else.
I heard Tony had a great time.
Yeah, I think he did. Why wouldn't he have a good time? What did you hear?
No. I heard he did. Like it
Oh,
was.
okay, for real. I wasn't sure if
Like
there was some
no.
story.
Basically, everybody kind of reports he's just a really positive, great person to
Yes.
spend time with. So.
Yeah, he's always really friendly and great. I got sick during the game, which was
Oh no.
I got this killer headache, like migraine level headache. I don't normally get headaches. I got sick to my stomach, and they're like, "Are you okay? Do you want to keep playing?" I'm like, "I'll finish the game. I gotta finish the game." Right?
Yeah, I
And
gotta
like,
tough it out.
right, and I'm playing with Tony and Boomguy, and like I said, I can't remember who our fourth was. I'm really sorry, because I wasn't feeling well at all. And then as soon as the game ended, I went back to my hotel for 2 hours, and then woke up and was like, "All right, I'm good to go." And came back,
Ready
and
to roll.
I was all right. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what was going on, but yeah, Tony's a lot of fun to play with. So he was all like reading cards and excited, and then people were like asking him rules questions on the
Yeah.
cards that KennedyHawk and
Yeah.
those guys made, which was
Yeah.
pretty funny to watch and be like, "Well, I would play it like this," and they're like, "That's good enough." Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of interruptions when you're playing with him. People wanting to get rules questions in.
Yeah, pictures and stuff like that. So, but most people were playing at that point, so it wasn't too bad. Everyone was pretty focused on taking out Carnage. So,
Right.
and so that's another thing. A bunch of folks from FFG were there, right? Tony,
Yep.
Frank,
Yep.
Aaron. We saw Caleb around. Zach Tualtimus was there. He played some games with folks. Their new community engagement person, Olivia, was there. So we got to meet her. She's the new Xander 2.0. So if you're a
Okay, I
content
didn't
creator,
get a chance to meet.
yeah. And Kate, who is the manager for all the LCGs, also showed up. So we could talk to her a little bit. So that was cool. Did you get to meet any of them, talk to any of them outside the panel or anything like that?
No, not really.
Yeah. I saw, everyone was like taking pictures, and it's
Yeah.
nice that they're right there and they can stop over. So,
But yeah, the fact that it starts on a Friday and it's, really easy for them to do that just from a work day and not feel like they,
right.
I'm sure for lots of them showing up on a non-work day is also really fun, but just that it's that easy.
Yeah. I saw Caleb Sunday.
Right.
He came in Sunday and just played a bunch of games with guys.
Well, he has a lot of relationships, right? I mean, there's, longtime
Mhm.
playtesters and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was playing with people he knew, not just fans. So. So did you have anything that stood out? Anything crazy? Anything over the top?
I mean, that Mysterio game was pretty spectacular. Played with a couple different people that brought every single possible aspect combination of Spider-Woman. So Kakita, Jamie, and Trace both did that. So they played a lot of Spider-Woman.
Okay.
Saw lots of people trying to get the alt arts that they wanted for all the heroes. I don't know.
Yeah, that
How
was
did
fun.
you engage in some of that?
I did. Yeah, I made a few trades early on. The pack I opened two Magneto and Miles Morales, which were two decks I brought with me.
Oh,
So
cool.
I was like, I'll keep these, and then I traded for Penny Parker, who's one of my favorites, and Iceman as well. So it was like, yeah, I'm good to go. So, and then people are like looking for stuff. I'm like, I can't help you. I have what I want.
Right. Yeah.
So, yep.
I had a couple really fun games against Master Mold, where we played without Magneto in it, in part because the person who was running it had forgot to bring their Magneto, and then the Future Days Past modular, which is the one
Nimrod and all that.
Nimrod. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we lost twice on that one, so
Oh,
never
okay.
even managed to manufacture a win out of that.
Okay. Oh yeah. So Master Mold, Mysterio. Who else had a win for you?
No,
How did it
we
go?
ended up winning against Mysterio. We just we hung on for a really long time and actually managed to pull it out. Well, I managed to lose to Magog every year.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, he's my favorite to lose to because well, his games are nice and short. You put a modular in. The modular really has very high presence in the game because the deck is so short.
Yep.
So you can really customize the difficulty because of that. So we played with the Hellfire Club and the Shadowcat Nemesis set that has White Queen.
Oh, right. Some more Hellfire stuff too, right?
And some more of those Hellfire Pawns, and
Yep.
so that one was really fun and tough, and we lost that one, and then the other one that I lost was against Mutagen, and it wasn't an especially difficult Mutagen. We have one in MODOK League that we refer to as Expert 1.5, which is just actually Expert 2, but the Cruel Intentions card. So that's the one that replaces Under Fire. The Cruel Intentions one is the one that's got Peril and Surge, and then everybody gets an encounter card, not just the person who drew it.
Right.
And the villain gets a face down boost card, and the boost on the card is also that you get a face down
Another
encounter
boost.
card.
Oh, okay.
No, another encounter
Oh,
card.
encounter card, yeah.
Yeah. So I replaced that one because I think that one's just a bit too swingy. I replaced that one with the regular Under Fire from the regular Expert. So it's Expert 2, but with that specific card toned down a bit. And that one's pretty good because there's a bunch of boost effects like similar to the Concussive Blast, where do a damage to every friendly character and things like that. That if you try to block with a minion or with an ally with only one health left, they go away and you get hit in the face with it, stuff like that. So lots of things where you have to be a little bit thoughtful about what can come up in the deck when you make your decisions. So that's pretty fun, and that's what we played with against Mutagen, and we were on the ropes for a really long time, but never managed to pull it out.
Okay. I don't think I played anything out of the Mutant Genesis box this time around.
Said you played Risky Business.
Yeah, that's the Green Goblin one.
Oh, you said Mutant Genesis? Sorry, did I say Mutant Genesis? I meant Mutagen Formula.
Mutagen Formula. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Did you see? Everyone's talking at one point. Everybody was like X-Men out, but I saw everybody with X-Men stuff and X-Force characters, and I don't know if we played. Like, I don't think I played against too many mutant scenarios, but people definitely brought those characters. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody latched onto the things that they really enjoyed, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, kind of being in the middle of 3 waves and one wave that was even a little extra long, had
there's a little fatigue there, maybe.
The extra heroes, and had the Magog Spiral and Mojo set and stuff like that. So it kind of, when you were in the middle of it, it felt like that was the only thing that existed.
Yeah. Oh, I take it back. I did play Magog. We played Magog with Savage Lands, Crazy Gang.
Oh yeah.
And something else too. Like Mike just loaded the deck up with stuff. But starting in the Savage Lands was pretty fun. So
right. I played with Mike on the last day, and believe it or not, he brought Crazy Gang.
Yeah, yeah. We played a lot of Crazy Gang.
Yeah.
Did you see his Chimera Dragon? Did he break that out for you, or
no?
Was he done with
Tell me about it.
Oh, so folks will have to go check out the photos. But when we did our lore on Chimera, we learned that she's insane, and she's also psychic or psionic, and she has these psionic dragons that she fights with, these giant green dragons, but she believes them to be her hand puppets, or she has hand puppets of them.
Okay,
so he brought a hand puppet.
That's what that was.
That's what that was. Yes, the green dragon hand puppet is the Chimera power of her green psychic dragon. So he kept talking, and she talks baby talk to it. So like replaces the R's with W's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like that's her lore. So he brought one, he homemade one of these and brought it. So and he like picked cards up with it, and it was pretty fun. So
I think I missed the origins of, because I knew it was a hand, from the show.
What is this thing?
I knew there was a hand puppet that Mike was doing baby talk with. But okay, now all the pieces have connected.
Yeah, if you're not listening to our show consistently, or you missed our MCM summer last year where we talked about that, the joke would go past you. So you just be like, oh, he's just a crazy guy. So
well, I don't know if I just missed that one specific episode, because I've heard lots of episodes where Mike would be talking in baby talk.
And it was after that he would just like break into it. Yeah, and when we did that episode, Daniel and I had no idea he was going to do that. He just busted it out randomly, improv, and it got us. So when he showed up with the puppet, it was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. So, and that's what makes the con so much fun is somebody's dressed up like a Venom dinosaur, right? Stephen Redmond's wearing this inflatable T-Rex thing, but it's got like a Venom suit on it. People have all these great shirts, and everybody's like just having a good time and being silly sometimes, and then no judgment, right?
Yeah, some folks made custom T-shirts, right?
Yeah. everyone's wearing every geek and nerd thing that they can come up with, and
Yep.
we love it. The more the merrier. So yeah.
Did you play much with Thunderbolts sets outside of kind of specific Thunderbolts games?
No, not this time around. We played a Thunderbolts, but we did not. I did not use the Thunderbolt modular in a non-Thunderbolt scenario. We did it the other way around, right? Where we put our Nemesis in, stuff like that.
I really like them. Those
Cool.
are tough characters to have on the game, especially that Atlas that gets growth counters at the end of every turn, so his health keeps on going up and up and up, and he has a side scheme that has a loss condition on it.
Yeah, and you're just like taking on Master Mold, and here's this Thunderbolt.
Yeah, so. Yeah, exactly. So I really like that one. We had this one. My son and I played a 2-player game. One of the nights, we just had a little bit of time before we wanted to go to bed, and we played against Magog with that Thunderbolt set with Atlas in it. And on our very first turn, we got the Atlas out, and then I always call it Mysterious Challenger, but that's not what it is. That's the Hearthstone name. But anyway, the
contender.
The Challenger or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called, or the contender.
Yeah, the other big minion. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got both of those on the first turn. And
strap in.
and we're playing on standard 3 expert 1, and we managed to win actually somehow.
Huh? I'm glad to hear more people play harder scenarios, but man, sometimes it's like that. I just don't want that extra 50 health we have to slog through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just definitely enjoy the challenge of it all.
Yeah, that's great. Well, did you do any other games while you were there? Because I saw some other stuff being played a little bit this year.
Yeah, not this year. Last year I played Spirit Island on Sunday night, kind of as a bit of a palate cleanser, and that was really, really fun with a bunch of people who were really experienced. I played a decent amount of Spirit Island, but certainly not as much as the people I played with last year. But this year I ended up just playing all the Marvel Champions all the way through.
Yeah,
yourself?
Me too. No, just Marvel Champions. Last year I played some Star Wars Unlimited. Somebody had brought some stuff for Arkham Horror. We were going to teach, they were going to teach somebody else a game, and I was like, "Oh, I'll play with you," and that never happened at all. I saw some Point Salad and a few party games like that, kind of late one night. Maybe it was really late Saturday night, kind of in the hotel.
Well, you brought your custom Star Wars champions.
Yes, I did. I mean, it's still Marvel Champions.
Yes. It's
still mechanically Marvel Champions, I should say. Yep, I brought Star Wars. I brought it last year as well because of May the 4th. And Eric, he's Semper Ludens on Discord. He liked it last year, and he printed off all the cards himself, and he brought a set. So they were playing. There was a 4-player game of that being played, my Star Wars stuff. I played a 2-player, and then I also played a 3-player of that with somebody else. So that was fun.
Did you make any new content for this year?
I had started a new Lando hero and never got able to finish it. So yeah, and we didn't really play it much last year. Last year I think we played one time. So it was fun to play it again this year. And I took some notes, and I have since edited a couple cards and put out an errata and redid them and put them out there. So because they were tested with my group here. But we played it a couple times, and that's that, and whatever. So, and then I know how we play, but playing it with other people, you're like, oh, other people play differently. So that was the thing. So,
right. Well, the beauty of having it as something that's kind of lives mostly as digital is it's pretty easy to fix an errata.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. There was a bunch of custom stuff, right? There was a custom massive multiplayer game for a Loki scenario that I played in. That was fun.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to play that. So did I understand correctly that there was a custom card in the scenario for each hero?
Yeah. So Autumn is the one who made it, and you were playing the Loki scenario from the Mad Titan Shadows box without the Gauntlet.
Yep.
And there was a special Trickster deck instead of the Gauntlet deck that anytime something referenced the Infinity Gauntlet, you just went after this Trickster deck instead. And then so if it said, reveal the top card of the Infinity Gauntlet deck, you flipped over a card, and that was pretty much Whispers of Paranoia deck. So you were playing that separately, which was kind of fun because that was bringing out Nemesis side schemes and different things like that. But the scenario was she had made a custom villain for every hero, except for Agents of Shield. She hadn't gotten that far,
Right.
And then I don't know. There was like say 25 heroes being played, so you had 25. I'm going to call them dark heroes. Were set up in this villain deck, shuffled up and dealt out randomly to each table, and you were still doing the whole thing where like Loki would flip it when normally you'd have like 4 Lokis and they changed and whatever. Well, you had 4 of these dark heroes and they would change whenever it said switch Loki. You just switch the hero, and so there was a dark Miles Morales and there was a dark Spider-Woman and whoever it was, and they had all these really really fun what I felt were thematic effects for some of them, and then there were some mechanics where you could swap your dark villain with somebody at another table. Like we did not like the X-23. We're like, this one is way too hard for us, so let's give him to Mike's table.
Right.
Like because what it was the idea was we were playing as the TVA, and Loki had taken over, and we had to prune all these variants and stuff like that. So
gotcha.
And I think it was like 3 or 4 cards total that just simply replaced other cards, and off you went. So it was pretty fun and easy to. Very easy to understand and grasp, and you knew what was going on. And the goal was, every table had to effectively win, or you had to kill off so many of these villains total for the whole multiverse going on. And my table, we lost right away. Not right away. Maybe it was like 6 or 7 rounds in. We had like 3 crisis icons, and we couldn't get the crisis and the threat just kept going up, and the villain kept scheming, and it was like, we are not going to win this. And we were trying really hard to clear that threat. We just couldn't do it and thread it out. So I did my job as a villain. I let somebody,
Yes. Well, I think you represented correctly.
Yeah. I think I was playing Magneto maybe at the time too. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, that was a different game. I was Magneto and we lost early on. So yeah. Well, we've been talking for like half an hour now.
Sure.
I don't want to keep you anymore. You got anything else you want to say about the con? Coming back next year?
I mean, yeah, it was great fun. It was the first time that my son had gone, and he was really excited, and I got lots of, reports of people who had a chance to play with him and enjoyed their time with him too. So that was nice. So we'll probably both be out next year. Yeah, I'm certainly in every year, and I think I'm, going to become part of the crew of people that bring, some alt arts to share out or other things like that. I think. I had some extra health counters that I had ordered and was sharing some of those out. And, people are really appreciative of, being given these things. And so there's a lot of opportunity for generosity there.
Yeah, we discussed what we could try to bring next year. We tried to bring something this year, but the printer wouldn't do it for us. So, yeah, we got caught up in do you own this? So we just had to drop it. We'll try again. How old is your son?
He's 19.
19. Okay. There was a younger kid there, like 11 or something. He seemed to have a good time. And I talked to a few other dads. We were discussing, we have kids like 11 and 12. Maybe it's, maybe we can get some young Avengers going. Or something.
Yeah. It was when my son was around that age, he was pretty excited to kind of come to something like that. And then he got a little bit older and was not as interested in playing a bunch of games with me anymore. And then he kind of came out of that, and now he's interested again.
Yeah, swings back the other way. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. My oldest is 17, so I'm kind of in the, I don't know. I don't know where he's at. So
right.
But, all right. Well, hey, this has been great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Steve.
The recap. Folks can find you where if they want to.
MODOK League. If you search for it, you'll find it. That's probably the easiest thing to do. There's you'll find a webpage and there's a link to the Discord.
Great. All right. Well, Josh, thanks so much.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go cut back to something else. Here we go. All right. Well, we are here with 3 superheroes. From the con. Astrodar. Hi, Astrodar.
Hello.
We're here with Boomguy.
Howdy, all you villainous people.
And Maka. Maka's here.
I managed to break in again. You can't keep me out of the lair.
All right. I don't think any of you need introductions to this community, so we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to get right to it. Con of Heroes. It was fun. We had a good time. I did. How was it? Let's start with Astrodar. What'd you think?
Oh, I had a great time. I always keep coming back to it for some reason. I don't know why, but no, it was fun. Just getting to get in a whole crap ton of games, getting to see all the people that I've been meeting over the last few years while I was in the game, and this year was fun getting to just try some new stuff. I always love doing the con scenarios, and I got to try some other homebrew this year, and I had a blast.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. I kind of want to get a feel from Boomguy. How was your experience? I know you were there with you brought somebody with you this year.
I did. Lazy Titan came with me today, co-host of the podcast, and we, of course, had a great time. As we always do, this is our 4th time, so we've been to every single con. There's tons of games. I played more games this year than I did the previous year, so I set a new record for myself, so that was exciting and exhausting, but a great time.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that too. And Chris, I know you weren't originally going to be able to make it, but you did come up for a day and a half. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there for 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Luckily, my calendar worked out enough that I could keep the streak alive, so I've been into every Con of Heroes, and very thankful that I was there and had a great time playing games and meeting people.
Here, here.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do a quick schedule for folks, because just in case you didn't get to go, a bunch of folks showed up on Wednesday, which was surprising to me, but I think most people came Thursday. I showed up on Thursday, and there was already games being played in the hotel.
Did you show up before or after the tables were set up?
Before.
Okay, so you caught where like most of there were a lot of attendees playing cards on the floor.
Yes. Yep. And the hotel was like, we can't have that, so they set tables up for us.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen people spread out to that degree. Like
Yeah.
the main lobby was stuffed. The side room that was booked for us was stuffed. So yeah, we were on the floor.
Yeah, that didn't last too long. They did put tables up. I don't know if somebody asked them. Are you the rest of you guys? Do you know? Did someone ask them, or did they just do it?
I think the
Yeah.
manager came and talked to us and asked. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want us all over the lobby floor, and then there was nowhere else to go, so they convinced him to get some tables out.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Boomguy, you were there Thursday, right?
I was, yeah. I arrived Thursday midday, kind of around noon, and there was already people playing, but then just as the day went on, it filled up way, way more. And then, as you said, we had the overflow room, the Johanna room, and then that filled up, and then there was a little like cave area down the hall that also filled up, and then there was people all over the floor. So
I saw one game going on in the pool area by the hot tub.
that's wild.
They
That's
did
brave.
say that we could go in there, and we were a little concerned that the humidity would affect the card sleeves. And
Yeah, I didn't see anybody there. I was just kidding.
oh no, they actually offered to put us up in the pool.
I'm sure they
They
did. But...
legit did.
So that was Thursday. I know some people, I think, went to see the Thunderbolts movie on Thursday. Was that
Mhm.
any of you guys? Any of you guys go? I did not go to see the movie.
I
did
did
not.
go, but not at the con. I went here where I live. Since I couldn't be at the con, I figure I'm going to go see Thunderbolts.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I skipped out on it. I learned my lesson in previous years going to catch a Marvel movie that I really just wanted to stay and play Champions.
Right. I have done that in the past where we went to a barbecue at somebody's house or something like that, and it was like, I really just want to be at the convention center playing. So I just stayed the whole time playing. So games on Thursday. Then the con eventually started Friday morning. Nice
Noon.
big line.
Right
We
at
got
noon.
in there. We signed up, and then we got some swag. And then I got some fun swag from Boomguy. Tell us about the swag you brought, because that was from you, right?
Yeah. So we did some alt art cards, and so this is not a con project. We announced it a while ago on the channel. We're going through all of the cycles and redoing kind of alt art hero cards because the OP stuff is hit or miss. You know, some waves got OP, some waves didn't get OP, and if you're getting into the game more recently, that old OP stuff is gone anyway. So we thought we would go all the way through and do that. So I have a community member and all around good guy, Band of Sirens, helping me with that. These cards are awesome, and then I've been printing them. I put them all in booster packs so that people would come in and get the sensation of having a booster pack and then cracking a pack open and trading cards with people. So hopefully that was cool. And then I do have to give a shout out to Corbin TM on the Discord, who also contributed some cards that I put into the packs as well. So that was cool. Everyone got 6 hero cards, and then they opened them up and got to trade with people.
Yeah, it was really neat.
That was such a neat idea. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, they were pretty well received.
Yeah, having the booster packs was really cool.
Yeah, it was a great way to start the con, to open those up and see the amazing artwork, because they're just brilliant.
Yeah,
and as a
great.
conversation starter too. Like, that's how I met a couple people. Just, hey, do you have Drax?
That was the hope. That's what we wanted, to get that feeling of when you were in elementary school and you're cracking Pokemon packs and you didn't care about how much they were worth. You weren't on TCG Player. You just wanted to trade the cool cards for the cool cards. And so I hope people got that sensation.
Yeah, it was fun.
I know I did.
Yeah, I got Magneto and Miles, which are 2 decks that I brought. So right off the bat, those cards went right into use.
Nice.
So, yeah. There was some other cool swag there. So let's talk about swag. We'll just cut through and let's talk swag. What other stuff did you get? We got a playmat, which is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
With that cool Carnage art and the blue back on it.
I loved the playmat. Yeah, the blue.
Not red this year. We broke
Not
the streak
red. I was
a little bit.
disappointed.
I was so happy.
The first year, I think.
I loved the blue. This was my favorite color yet. So
Yeah.
it looked so clean, so good.
Now, I gotta ask: are you guys playmat signers? I know there's a group of people who have their playmat signed by people they play with, and there's a group of people who prefer to keep it looking fresh. So how does everyone fall here?
I didn't get it signed, but there was room on it. And by the end of the con, I'm like, oh yeah, I suppose I could have done it. I'm not against it. I just didn't think about it at the time. And by the time I did, it was too late.
I love the concept of it. And then every time I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it this time. I'm like, oh, but it looks so clean and nice. And so I never end up doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So what I did was I made everybody sign the back of my playmat.
That was genius.
Brilliant.
Of course,
Clever.
evil genius here.
But you brought like a special marker for that and everything too.
Yeah, you can't use a black Sharpie because the back is black, right? So it was gold. I did that once before at like Gen Con, and I haven't done it since for like years. And this year I was like, oh, I think I want to do it. And I just had anybody sign it. I didn't need to play a game with them. This was just people that I talked to, that I saw folks, Tony Fanchi signed it for me, things like that. So I probably won't do it every time, but it was fun to do this time. So
Nice.
Okay, I hear a rumor. I'm going to talk to Boomguy about this, that somebody played like 40 plus games at the convention.
Yeah, I got 40. I hit my 40th game at the airport on the way out. I was at 39.
Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, I got 40 games, and only 2 of them were 2-player. The overwhelming majority were 4-player games. So I played basically all day, every day, from like 6 until like 1 in the morning. I ate all my meals at the table like a gremlin, and I just stayed inside and played games all weekend. And I still were the people I didn't get to play with that I wanted to. I played 40 games, with 3-4 people each time, 3 different people other than me. And I still didn't get to everybody that I wanted to. There's still people that I missed playing with, but I did enjoy playing with everybody that I did play with. A bunch of new people this year, so it was a great time.
Yeah, 40 games. I don't track my games, but there's no way I played it close to that.
No.
I took a notebook with me, and I wrote every game down, who I played with, their name, their Discord handle, what hero and aspect they played, what scenario we played, and if we won or lost. And because I want to be able to talk about them and remember them. I feel like every year I have these great memories, but by the end of the con, they all kind of run together, and I forget them. So this way, it's a way for me to jog my memory, to go back and think, oh yeah, I played with this person and we had that game, and now I'll remember some of those details, which I think is important to me. And I did it with a notebook because I didn't want everyone to think I was just texting and being a jerk at the end of the game, writing things down. So
I did the same and started out on a phone though, because that's how I usually log games. And then like I just kept feeling like, I look like a jerk just sitting here, which I don't think that of anyone else doing it, but it was still just self-conscious. So I switched over to a notebook as well, and actually found it was way easier to track that route. But But yeah, I did not quite get up to those big numbers. I hit 32, but no higher.
Still a lot.
That's a lot.
Still a lot.
Still impressive.
Yeah, 4-player game can take quite a while, especially if you're not playing fast. Now, did you guys play mostly standard, expert, heroic 6? What'd you play?
I played mostly standard. I'd say I played probably 3/4 of them were standard. I played a few skirmish games, and then the rest were expert. I did have a very memorable skirmish game where I played a 4-player with Green Goblin mutagen formula, and they just played stage 3 skirmish, so it starts out with 3 encounter cards right off the bat, because that's the stage 3 side. So that was a pretty memorable, to kind of dig out of that quickly and get through to the end was fun. But mostly it was standard just for time.
Was that a game with Josaru?
It was not. It was not with Josaru.
I think he did something similar he was talking about. So I had a skirmish game with Maka here. It's like 1 a.m, Saturday night. I'm exhausted because I have been up. I have not slept the whole con. The first night I was up for 22 hours because of flights and stuff. And he's like, we'll just play a quick skirmish game of Rhino. And it turned into a full game of Rhino. And we were going to skirmish, so we started on level 2. So we played 2 and 3, but on standard. I was so exhausted by the end of that.
To be fair, you said we should just keep going on 3. Because
I know.
You're like, yeah, let's just keep doing it.
Well, I was having fun, so that's the problem.
Glad we managed to convince you.
Does anybody have a favorite memory? Like a favorite game that sticks out or a favorite thing that happened that sticks out to them?
For me, honestly, it was probably that Steve, just because we were trying to convince him playing the devil's the devil. Come on, Steve. He was just packing up. He was saying goodbye to some people. And who was it? It was me, Shbee, and...
Lack of subtlety, maybe?
Yeah. And so we're like, oh, let's go see Steve and see if he's still around. And you were, and so no, I'm so tired. Come on, just one game. We'll make it a skirmish just against Rhino. It'll be super fast, super easy. It'll be great. I don't know. Fine. I don't want somebody give me a deck and all the tokens. I don't want to pull anything out.
Yeah. I made sure to use none of my own stuff. I put it back in the room and came down like there.
And it was a great game.
My favorite memory was when Mike says, "Oh, look what I brought with me. Look at my little companion."
Wait, are we that sort of podcast now?
Did you see the little green dragon floating around that Mike had brought with him?
I brought a roommate. And the damn thing snores. It was awful.
It's not weird. Everyone else is weird.
Yeah. And I made sure to say loud and clear that, yes, I hang out with Steve all the time. So do I. It was great. Everyone looking at us, looking at Steve, pointing at Steve.
Not me. They're looking at you.
laughing at Steve.
So Mike brought Chimera's psionic dragon, green dragon hand puppet, because that's what Chimera does. She talks to her hands like they're alive. So Mike busted that out. It was really good. The joke was maybe lost on people who don't know the lore, but it was not lost on me. It was great.
Yeah, which rolls into one of my favorite games was who was playing with us? They were playing as Psylocke, and Chimera came out like 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
And every time the puppet was back out. It was so good.
Love it. That I think for me, one of my favorites was a few of us decided to tackle Galaxy's Most Wanted campaign. And so Lazy Titan, myself, and Relaxing Glitch, we just busted it out all in one night. And it was just like going like those games back to back to back was a lot of fun. And we were all protection builds. And so that made it even more interesting.
Did you beat Ronan?
We did, actually. Actually, he wasn't even the hardest one. I think Nebula was more of a problem than anything else.
Oh, for protection, yeah.
Yeah, but we had a good time with it, and it was a lot of fun. We ran Drax, Rocket, and Venom.
Nice. That reminds me of we played an all protection game as well on Sunday, and probably talk about it later. But it was also one of my more memorable experiences where we played all protection against the 4 Horsemen. We decided to even the odds. We're not going to be cheaty heroes and gang up on the villains. We're going to have 4 versus 4. And we played 4 protection ghost spiders against the 4 Horsemen. And it was fantastic.
Love it.
Apparently, pestilence stayed with me.
There was like a all Gwen protection multiverse event or something that was kind of done. Was that part of it? Was that part of that,
Yeah,
Mike?
yeah. There
I
were
didn't
4
participate in
different
that.
tables. There wasn't any coordination between tables. You just kind of played whatever you want. So I think we had a mutagen formula, and I don't even remember what the rest were. We were the only 4 horseman table.
Let's talk custom scenario. We played that. Everybody played that on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we played with the symbiotes and Carnage and all of that. And Boomguy, you and I played that, right? With Tony.
We did, yeah.
And Eric.
Yeah, we played with Tony and Eric. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I was getting sick at that moment, so I was maybe not the best partner. My suggestion is when you go to the Japanese food truck and you're like, oh, I'll just have this appetizer thing, and you get it and you order it, you don't know what it is, you just whatever, and you start to eat it. If it's octopus balls, you should not have them.
I didn't
Out
even
of
know
a food truck.
octopuses had balls.
I didn't
mean,
either, but they can make you sick.
That sounds like a life lesson right there.
Yep.
Not just about cons, just in life. Don't eat balls. It's
Don't eat
just,
things if you don't know what it is.
Especially from a food truck, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's not besmirch the food truck because that was a huge addition. I think it helped a lot of people, except people who got sick.
Yeah, I think everybody did great on the rest of the food. I don't know anybody else who had the octopus balls, but
I don't either.
Yeah, the trucks were there this year. That was great. That was really nice because I went out and there's some picnic tables nearby, so you could sit outside, get some air, eat. That was really a nice, refreshing moment to be able to go out there and have that right there. I didn't do anything but go to Indian Palace once. Other than that, I ate out of the food trucks. So, did you guys go out at all or no?
I went to Indian Palace twice. I went on the first day, and then I went for dinner on the last night. But other than that, it was all food trucks for me.
Yeah. I can't say no to Misant, but I definitely dabbled in the food trucks.
Yeah, it was all food trucks during game time because, I mean, the Japanese one I absolutely loved because they had little buzzers. So you didn't even have to wait out there for the food. You just went back to your game and played until you got buzzed. And so I think, I took like 4 whole minutes away from the game to go get food and then come back and eat.
But also, they were so quick, you almost didn't need the buzzers. Like, by the time you sat down again, it was time to go get your stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, so
I forget who coordinated those, but that was great.
Whoever did that was awesome.
I believe he's on the show right now.
I believe it's Boomguy.
I don't know. Who? I don't. Boom.
Boom. Who? Yeah. But I was in the game with you, Steve, and we played with Tony during the Carnage. I did get Tony to sign my Jubilee card because I played Jubilee for that, and that was a hero he designed. So that was cool. He was playing a blue Spider-Man deck, Peter Parker. And what were you playing?
Possibly my Magneto deck?
No, you were playing Silk.
I was playing Silk? Oh, Tony handed me a Silk deck.
I was trying to set you up there.
I don't remember. Like I said, I don't track any of this stuff. And I was
sick. You weren't
sick.
doing so well. Yeah, you were
it's such a headache. He handed me a Silk deck. I think it was a pre-con.
It was,
maybe. Yeah. And I played it because I did not get my Silken Shuri until I got home after the fact. So, although I did get to play it a couple times from other people.
Yeah.
And we won.
The Carnage scenario, what'd you think?
What'd you guys think?
I loved it.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
Like,
go ahead, Astrodar.
Usually in the previous cons, it's always been some small addition to official content, and this one was just the full new scenario. So it was really fun to have that to engage with. I really want to take this one and try it on like 3 or 4 tables. And it seems weird to call 4 tables a more intimate setting, but 3 or 4 tables at a time to make all those values from the huge, massive amount of HP and stuff, bring those down into a realm where you kind of like interact with it a little more. But I had a blast with it.
Yeah, there was a point when I think Carnage had like 3,000 hit points, and you're like, I don't, whatever. We're just gonna keep playing, and eventually tell them what we're doing. So
I will make a strong recommendation if anybody, because it is all available for printing on your own on the Con of Heroes, of actually bothering to read it ahead of time. Our game, we got about halfway through stage 1 when we realized, oh wait, we're supposed to discard until we get a cultist to attach to them. Oops.
Yeah, it's hard, right? There's a lot going on. There's people yelling, and there's people announcing stuff, and you're learning new decks and new people. So But yeah, reading is good. But overall, I thought it was a really, really fun scenario. I really liked all the art. I really liked all the stuff that was going on. So it was really great. Like Astrodar, I think I would really like to play it with like 2 tables even, or 3 tables. Just like a really small group to really get the feeling of, if there's 2 tables, you can say like, well, we're grabbing a Web Warrior counter. You guys grab a Web Warrior counter, or, we got a cult counter, whatever. I do feel like you'd interact a little bit more. It felt a little detached when you were just like running the numbers up to KennedyHawk, who was frantically trying to get it into his phone. And then he would yell out how much health was left, and it felt like 3,000 or 1,000. It was like, we'll be here all day, but it went pretty quick towards the end.
Yeah, 10 minutes later, 600. What?
Yeah.
And then we're done. Yeah.
Yeah. Not an easy event. Kudos to them for putting that on and being able to run that with so many people and keeping track of it and still making it fun. So,
shout out to Lazy Titan, who had a group and a 4-player group. He wasn't in mine. And they tracked all the damage they did. He did 910 damage to Carnage by himself.
Wow.
Whoa. Like just him or his table?
Just him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did like 40.
Yeah, I think I did like 6.
Yeah.
But I was playing Jubilee, so
Yeah.
I can't say much because at our table, because they have the damage cap on him, is like by the time we got to player 2, we were capped out at damage. So it got to me at like 3rd or 4th player in line, and I go, I got nothing to do.
At one point, I think he said he had like 1,000 health left, and we're like, whatever. We don't care about the cap. We're just gonna do damage.
Yeah, that was us.
Yeah.
It's like take forever.
The other thing that was happening at our table, I recall, is people asking Tony rules questions. He didn't make the scenario. Yes.
Yeah.
They kept coming over and asking him stuff, and he's like, I'd play it this way. Well, I would do it like this, right? So that was kind of funny.
Poor guy.
All right. One other thing here I want to say is Astrodar, you were my roommate this year.
Yeah, I think we were. I don't know that we ever really crossed paths much, though.
No, it was like 2 minutes in the morning. You going to breakfast? Yeah, okay, let's go. Like that was it, maybe, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think I did my very best to stay out and playing games. On my best night, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be reasonable. It's, after 1 a.m. I'm going to go to bed. And in the hallway, I ran into Nelson and I was like, game? And he's like, yeah, let's do this. And then we had another 4-player game and we were up until 4 after that. So
there was a point where I was like, is he ever coming back to this room? Like, I'm sleeping. It's fine. I don't care. But I like woke up at one point like, I hope he's okay. I went back to sleep. So.
I was not okay. I was being swarmed by thunderbolts. So
how many villain victories did we have? How many times did the villains win for you guys?
I had 3.
I had 4 losses.
Out of 40 games.
Yeah.
This game's not hard enough.
I had 1 loss, and that was with you, Steve. That was a turn 2 Kang loss.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Just 1 for me, unless you want to count Dung Beetle.
Oh yeah, you got to count Dung Beetle. We played Dung Beetle custom critical encounters scenario.
Ooh.
Yep. He rolled us up in his dung ball and we lost. So
gross.
Yeah,
I played
exactly.
I played 2 custom scenarios. I played Andy N's fantastic Mr. Negative scenario. I don't know if anyone got to play that, but that was super awesome. And I played Gore the God Butcher. Someone brought a custom Gore the God Butcher scenario. I played that. It's also fun.
The Mr. Negative is on Octagon, and I've played that before on there. It's really fun.
It's so good,
Yeah,
right?
Daniel was raving about it. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's
It was great. He was like, Andy was running games like all day of just like people wanting to jump in and try it out. And it's a really fun one. That's how we closed out our campaign on Saturday because I was in Andy's group. And so we did first 2 scenarios and then closed it out with Mr. Negative. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, guys, this has been great. It was good to see you. It was good to play games with you. I'm so excited for next year. Do you have any final thoughts, parting thoughts, anything else you want to say before we send you down to the minion pits?
I would like to give a shout out to, I met a father and son duo who were really awesome. I think they were from Virginia. And it made me remember the first year of the con when I brought my son with me when he was living at home, and I brought him. It made me think about that. But I also want to shout out that they had T-shirts with content creators on it, and one of them had my name on it. So I went up and talked to them, and that was like a good icebreaker. That was super cool. So it's great to see, father and son bonding like that, and the T-shirt was just a cherry on top. So shout out to them. I had a great time.
They had
Mike,
had some great shirts.
Our names were not on the T-shirt, Mike.
No, they weren't. I was very mad, and I made them aware of that.
Yeah.
But they had a great one where he had, what was it? Current format, or no, he had legacy format. His son had current format.
That's funny. I didn't see that one.
Nice.
That's so much more heartwarming than how I was going to close out. So I will just say that next year I'm going to try to play more games than Boomguy so that I can be the one with the big numbers.
Challenge thrown out.
Yeah, challenge accepted.
All right, well, guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking about your con experiences. Look forward to talking to you again, seeing you at the con, and between now and then, lots more time to do Marvel Champions with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks
a lot.
All right, we're back and joined by LACKOFSUBETELTY, Spee, and TheRomeo. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming on 2 days after getting back from the con.
I know. I've almost recovered some sleep.
Is that because you stayed up super late on Saturday night and made somebody play a quote-unquote skirmish rhino game?
Oh, I have stories about that night. Yes, yeah.
We played another game after with Josh.
What?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We were up till 3.
No,
I do remember
4.
going to bed early and seeing Josh at the head of the table, and then getting up the next morning and seeing Josh in the same spot.
At that point, why go to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk memories. Is there anything in particular that stands out over the weekend that you want to give a shout out about?
Oh gosh, a lot. Mainly just people. Everyone was so awesome. I had anxiety, quite a bit of it, and people just were saving me from it by inviting me to games and chatting with me. It really meant a lot. It was awesome.
Me and Spee actually walked over to the con the first day together, and I noticed that he was looking a little intimidated, and let him, just kind of deal with it. But I kept my eyes open, and all of a sudden, I just saw him like jumping from table to table, just for the rest of the con, just everywhere. Everybody was so inviting. That was the thing. Like, I had heard so much from everybody talking about it going into the con that like everybody's super open, super friendly. It just, you don't really understand it until you're there, just how awesome it is to walk up to anybody and be like, you got room for one more? And they're like, yeah, jump on in. Yeah.
It's pretty great. Everyone's there because they want to play this card game. Everyone loves Marvel Champions, and they want to do 4-player games. So great to be able to make eye contact with someone and know they want to do the same thing as you. So you're welcome to join.
Yeah. And if you're just looking for a game, all you have to do is start setting your stuff up, and someone will appear.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was one of my tactics to avoid having to look. Just sit down with my stuff and wait.
Yep, they have those little signs that you could borrow that say, Justice Player Wanted or Leadership Player Wanted. I don't think those get touched, because just as soon as you see someone setting up, there's someone who wants to come play with them and join the game.
So we did steal one of those signs, and we put a critical encounter sign in it and set it at our table, like to reserve our spot every day. Like, we just left it at that one table. So, yeah.
And it stayed there all con. It was great.
Yep. Yeah, I played a game in the hotel lobby with completely random third person. He just sort of snuck in. He's like, you got a game? I got this deck. And boom, he joined in, and it was fun. Don't know his name. Sorry. Late guy on Saturday night. But it was fun, right? So,
yeah. I mean, the other thing that really stands out, I mean, of course, you got to meet the designers and say thanks to them, and we appreciate your work, and that they were very open and receiving of that they were very cool to people coming up and giving them thanks. And even like I ran into Unicorn, who does pretty much all the cards for Tabletop Simulator. He's the one who ports them all over. And I just got to take him aside and be like, dude, I know how much work that is. That's so much work. Thank you for all the work you put in so that I can log in a stupid amount of hours playing on TTS.
Yeah. So speaking of like that, FFG did come over on Friday. Tony Fanchi was there. Frank was there. Aaron was there.
Oh, there are
We
so
met-
many.
We met the new community person, Xander 2.0, Olivia.
Oh, I didn't get to meet her. Okay.
The LCG manager, Kate, was there as well. I had not met her before. And Zach Twaltimus, playtest guy, he was there as well. And I know he got some games in with people. And then the host, Americano there, he did like a little Q&A with the designers, Tony, Aaron, and Frank. And that was pretty cool, right? They asked some questions and they answered some stuff. They didn't really take any questions from the audience. I think that's would have been kind of difficult. But it was
they did
nice
give us
to hear.
one really kind of dirty tease on an upcoming product.
What was that? Do you
The
remember?
one where they said it's not the next box, it's the product after that is not a scenario, it's not a hero, and it was not something else. I can't remember what the third thing was.
It's like it's something new that we haven't seen before. We haven't done before.
Not a campaign, they said.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice what they were wearing?
No.
I had another piece of swag that I gave out. I was giving out to people. I
little
wish Daniel was there. Daniel would have loved this.
Sticker.
Yeah. Yeah, I printed out the sticker. While means while, and I had all of the FFG employees wear it, and we got a picture taken with it. And
that currently resides on my White Queen card.
love it.
Nice.
Love it.
How
And,
mean
I
to
think-
do that the year Daniel couldn't come.
I know. And I think Tony's exact words were, this sticker will stay on me while I'm at the con. And then it will fall off.
Did you guys get any fun swag? How about the raffles, right? There was a raffle every couple days. Everybody got a ticket. If you bought a con ticket, you got a raffle ticket. So everybody got to take from the prize table as long as you were in the room. Did everybody get to go up? What'd you guys get off the tables? I'm always curious.
I got one. I got a modular from one of the previous cons. That's a Mojo Cinematic Universe.
Okay. Yeah.
It was really fun. I got to play a game or two with it, and it added a lot of fun to the game. Lots of wacky stuff. There was one card that causes you to like pass one of your cards to another player. And while I was playing with Boomguy, he was playing Thor, and the Domino player passed him one of her pistols. So Thor was running around with a pistol and Mjolnir at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. I saw that set, and then I saw the bag of burger tokens next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yep, grab the tokens. How about you two, Shvi?
I was towards the tail end of the first group to go up, so there wasn't a ton of stuff up there, and I was just kind of a little frozen. I picked up a Kang health dial because somewhere along the line I lost one of the player health dials I've got. So it's really cool looking. It's a little loose, so I can fix that.
Nice.
I got a
Romeo?
Taskmaster version that's a little loose too.
Oh, cool.
I went home with a buy the same token hero stand with Con of Heroes printed on it. I guess they did those custom. It's really cool. It's actually bad because now I'm going to have to buy a bunch of these tokens from them. And then in addition to that prize, I think I came home with 16 custom hero art cards that just fans had printed out, and the ones from Boomguy, and just, wow, people really showed up with that. Everyone was saying like, oh, have you gotten a Jubilee for me yet? Have you gotten a Spider-Woman for me? So a lot of cool things to take home.
Yeah, I came into the hotel and Andrew, I think SDX, started talking to me very quickly, and like really early on he pulled out a few and he's like, here, pick one.
Yeah,
So
I think
an amazing Psylocke from him. But yeah, there were just people giving those out. They're really neat. They were really well done.
SDX gave me a chibi Ronin set, so villain 1, 2, 3, but in that cutesy style, so you don't notice when he's beating you up.
Hilarious.
Who was giving out those full-size cards?
Yes.
Sandy
ones?
was his name.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are incredible.
Yeah, I've got all of my alt-art cards in front of me right now, and I got this incredible Spectrum from Sandy. And then I've got like 12 other cards that I got from all sorts of people. It was great.
I still think I got the best piece of swag though. So
Yeah,
anybody who
tell 'em about
watches anyone who watches our Tuesday night Twitch, we play an octagon, and in order to change the phase, you have to hit F12. Well, some wonderful person gave me a little tiny F12 key that I could click and pass around. Romeo, do you know who that was who gave me that?
I do. Someone truly villainous, I think.
Yeah.
Has the bomb in it gone off yet?
No, not yet. I haven't
Well,
clicked it enough times.
Give it a few more presses.
Okay.
I anytime you watch the stream, Steve always says, "All right, round's over, F12." And I thought, okay, what's going to happen when he says that in person? We better bring a real key for it.
I
it's great.
loved it because it was just another way to say, okay, you guys can ready up now.
You need to hook it up to a bullhorn or something so it makes a big noise when it's time for the round to end.
Yeah, it's not loud enough, but yeah, we can do something with it. Yeah, that's great. I love it. I use it as my first player token a whole bunch of games. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, those are my favorite little things. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk encounter sets or modular sets. We had a couple really neat ones in here. We had a new standard set, and we had another jetpack set. What do you guys think of those?
I had read ahead and saw about the jetpack set, so I brought a deck that was specifically for playing with it, which was a Spider Ham deck in Justice. And so I had a lot of fun. I had to ask several people, do you want to play with the jetpack set? And most of them had not brought, tweaked out decks for it. I finally got to play at least one game with it, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for those who don't know, it's a set that gives everyone a jetpack that makes them aerial, but then it includes a bunch of encounter cards that screw with the fuel in your jetpack, and there's a villain that pops out and drains your fuel, and lots of really fun interactions.
Important note to remember if you play that, Graviton is setup, so you're supposed to put him out at the start of the game. We figured that out when the game was over. It's like, oh crap, he was supposed to be there the whole time.
Yeah, I played it only once, and we drew him, and it was like, yeah, this says setup on it. Oh well. Too late.
He also, I think,
came up.
He shuffles back into the deck when you defeat him too. So
yeah.
Oh.
He shows up a lot. The new standard set this year was the symbiote set, which was really cool.
Yeah, I played that in the campaign. I'm sorry, I talked right over you. Go ahead.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it. I also played it in the campaign.
And I also got a game in with Mike where we were playing. We used it as the standard, and we had a lot of fun with it. We had a lot of fun with that game. That's when we went up against Mysterio and accidentally shuffled 2 personal nightmare sets. And I was like, every time Maria Hill got attacked, I'm like, why is I'm always getting an illusion in my deck? I have so many illusions in my deck.
The number of times I had to dump my hand and redraw. Yeah.
But did y'all play Mysterio on Heroic?
No, but it felt like it. It honestly felt like it by the end.
Did you guys use the challenge cards? I hear the Mysterio challenge card was amazing.
The Mysterio challenge was was a mess. So the challenge for that
was the only one
The challenge for that was that everyone has to take their Nemesis set and shuffle it into their deck before the game or after Mulligan. So before the game starts proper, but after your Mulligan. So that means your first time through every player's deck, everyone's whole encounter set is coming out.
Yeah. I didn't play that. I wish I had, just because.
Yeah, we did Heroic instead. I played the other challenges though.
Which other one, Shpee?
There was the one for Risky Business. That one was rough because it gives Norman a crisis, so you can't thwart the main, and then it also gave it an acceleration. And then when you flip him, you get an extra card and a boost. The bonus to boost. I don't remember the names of those.
Hazards and there was a hazard and an amplify. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah, it was. Woo, that was rough. We were also playing. Someone at the table wanted to play with Standard 2. We didn't use the environment.
Yeah, that was me. Surprise, surprise, that was me.
Yeah, that was I played that game with y'all right when we came in. It was Mysterio with that Standard 2. I had just shuffled into the hotel all tired, and I say, "Oh, come play this game. We'll just use Standard 2 real quick."
Well, it wasn't a casual Expert 3.
Was that the Savage Lands one? No, sorry, I'm thinking
No,
of the
That was
wrong game.
Magog. That was Magog.
That was Magog.
Yeah, this one was Mysterio. It was Mike and Steve, and Lexicon was there too. And what mod set did we use?
Crazy Gang, Iron Spider, Sinister Six, maybe both of them.
That might have been it. Yeah,
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I remember it went 0 to 60 really quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does anyone have any final thoughts or fun stories they want to share before we head out?
Absolutely. One of my best moments of the weekend was with the two of you. We were playing Kang, and we got absolutely trampled in the first game. He just beat the snot out of us. But when we played the second game and we were broken up, I was playing Psylocke and got my Nemesis set. And Mike and Steve were playing together, and I was with our fourth. And when I drew a telekinetic dragon, I started using the voice, or trying to, and then I got to see Mike pull out the real deal. He whipped out a sock puppet dragon. And every time her cards came up after that, we got the voice. It was awesome.
It was so hard keeping that under wraps for the last 5 months.
Yeah, that was good. There was Mike, you got a lot of odd looks. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
It was great.
But did you have to buy a ticket for the dragon?
No, and Customs didn't even ask.
They're like, what are these cards? We don't care about the puppet.
Yeah, pretty much. Cards and the coins. Coins? What? Yeah.
Yeah.
The burger tokens. Anyone else with stories?
Yeah, I mean, my thing, I'm mostly do deck builds on Marvel CDB and stuff. That's where, if anybody's going to know me, that's probably where they're going to know me from. And so there's all the other deck builders on there, and I got to run into several of them at the con. And breakfast on Saturday morning was me and Andy R and DM Tip and Spee, all just hanging out together and talking deck builds, and it was just so nice to just be there in person and to be able to play and talk and be with these guys and to realize how awesome they are. I loved that. And my other big moment was our late night game where it's we run into Vardane and he's ready to go to bed, and he's like, look, we'll only play if we do Skirmish Rhino. That's all I'll play. It's like, okay, fine, we'll do Skirmish Rhino. We did it, and we beat his first form pretty quick, and you graciously decided to go on and do second form as well. And then as we wrap that up, up comes Josh from the Hills Have Nerds, and I'm from Kentucky, Josh is from Kentucky, and there's just this immediately is well, I guess we now have to play a game because we're the two Kentucky guys here, and we just instantly hit it off and got along great, but still ended up playing until 3 a.m. Yeah,
it was 4.
That was 4.
I remember looking at my clock and seeing 4:30. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was late. I was asleep at that point, but the game was fun that we played. So, and you graciously let me play a Spider Penny Parker, which I had not used all con, which was really fun. So,
oh, you got one in. I love Spider.
Still one of my favorites. So.
And when I played with Mike, I got to show off Maria Hill to him. I don't think he had really gotten to see her in her full glory yet, and I got to just kind of go ham with her in a game.
That was stupid. She is so strong. No, that was great to watch. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had a great time.
All right, well, thanks for coming on the show, everybody.
Yeah, it was great being here.
Yeah, thanks guys. For having us.
Thank you. I will see y'all next year, every one of you.
I hope so.
Genuinely intend to make that happen. So,
if at all possible, yeah.
All right, and here we go with our next set of folks. We have with us Seth, as you know, Regal Games TV, our TV repairman. Ryan, the Masked Hero, welcome. And Alejandro, or known as CHARR on the Discords. Welcome, guys, to our Con of Heroes recap show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Well, let's talk Con of Heroes. I'm going to ask a couple of general questions. I want to know, like, how. Let's start with when were you there? Because some people showed up Wednesday and left on Monday. What was your schedule like? I came Thursday, I left Sunday. I got the whole con experience. What about you, Char? What'd you get?
Yeah, I flew in early Thursday morning and then I left on Monday in the afternoon. So full con for me.
Full con, nice. Seth?
Full con for me as well. We drove all the way from Indianapolis on Thursday. And then we stayed most of the day on Sunday, left about 3 o'clock, drove to Madison, Wisconsin, and then finished the drive on Monday.
Okay, so you drove in. Okay, so
we did, yeah.
Did you bring like everything you own because you were driving?
Yes, I brought my entire Champions collection, as well as probably a third of my Arkham collection. I brought all my player cards and like the 2 first waves because I have them in one box.
Yeah, we were gonna maybe play an Arkham game, and that never happened, did it?
It never happened. We were playing too many Champions games.
That's right.
Which is okay.
Yeah. Ryan, how about you?
I have yet to leave Minnesota because I live in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Okay. Are you local to Roseville, though?
It's like a 30-minute drive, so I was making a 30-minute drive every morning.
Yeah, that's
still not bad.
That's commitment.
All right, so let's talk con then. Do you get in a lot of games? Did you guys track games? How many games did you guys get in on average? What do you think?
I tracked exactly. I got like 24 in over the 4 days.
24.
That's
okay,
a lot of games.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
Yeah.
I started tracking and fell off. I want to say I probably had 4 or 5 every day, so probably 15-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, I was probably about the same in there. Probably about 15 or so.
Did you guys hear that Boomguy played 40 games while at the con?
That's
I did
ridiculous.
hear that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. His 40th game was at the airport on the way out, but I think it still counts.
It still counts.
Yeah, I will say, the campaign mode, all power to people that want to do that. I even participated a little bit, but I realized, like, if I do this, it's going to take up my entire day.
Mm-hmm.
That I could be playing with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I like that with the campaign. I like the way they've kind of opened it up to where you can just basically play as much of it as you want. I thought that has been a really good change they've made over the past couple years.
Yeah, I agree. What Mike and I did was I played 3 games of campaign, but all 3 games were with different people. Random.
Yeah, that's
when
fun.
we just said, we're like, did you play a scenario? Yeah, what did you win? Great. So did we. So we put out the suit, right? Like we just sort of mushed the campaigns together. So that was pretty fun. Yeah. How about, and I know this is a leading question because I know the answer. There was a Loki custom scenario that was a massive multiplayer game. Who participated in that?
I did.
Oh yeah.
As did I. I think it was really great. And if for some reason Autumn actually hears this, good job. Did a great job. I loved it. Do more.
Yeah, shout out to Autumn for putting that together. That was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. And our group did what we were supposed to do, and we lost.
We lost.
Right?
We lost. It was the 3 of us and my friend Alex, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost 3 Justice X and we threaded out.
We threaded out.
So this event, for those who didn't know, it was a variation of Loki, where everyone was a branch of the Time Variance Agency, and instead of fighting the versions of Loki from the Loki scenario, you're fighting a bunch of mind-controlled heroes, or as we like to call them, language heroes.
Whoa, language.
I'm sure you'll language that.
Yeah.
So she collected all the names of all the heroes that were playing the game and made sure there was one copy, a dark side of every hero in the game. Added in a few more heroes just to balance out the number. Shuffled it all together and then gave each group 5 random heroes. And there was a chance once per game for each group to trade one of their versions with one of their characters with another table, just in case one was really, really hurting your table. But they were all variations. Like Ms. Marvel, her thing was you're the first treachery drawn each round gets drawn twice.
That's
there's
brutal.
really fun thematic ones. We were debating sending X-23 your way, Mike.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were gonna send X-23 as soon as we got it. We were like, we should just pass this to Mike.
I would have passed it right back.
So yeah, I was
That's why we didn't do it.
Because what she does is the first time somebody attacks her during a player's turn, she immediately attacks them back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
brutal. And then we had Spider Woman, who gets +1 to her activation to a max of 3 for each aspect card in your hand.
Oh,
so
dang.
she was consistently hitting for like 3 or 4 plus a boost. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Then Scarlet Witch, I don't remember precisely what. Oh, was Scarlet Witch like you flip a card during activations or something?
Yeah, so she you would it was a forced interrupt where you would discard the top card of the encounter deck, and if it had a boost ability icon, she would get +1 to the activation. And then she would activate normally.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really, really fun. The really devious thing about that scenario was was it Whispers of Paranoia that was acting as the Infinity deck?
Yeah, that's
what. Oh yeah,
that was the devious thing about that scenario.
Yeah, so
that
instead
was
of
awful.
the Infinity Stone deck, whenever you would draw it, you would draw from that instead. And yeah, you're right. That was awful. That was taking control of our allies and everything. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really fun setup, and I would really love to try to get a chance to play that again.
Yeah, and then for anybody who's playing at home as well, we also went up against Bishop. I don't remember what he did, and then Iron Man just had like 2 icons, I think.
It was just like an amplify.
Yeah,
oh,
I can't remember what Bishop did, but we did bring him out. I feel like he had something to do with like.
That was one of the few things I actually notated. I was like, here are the villains we fought against.
Yeah, I think he had some. I want to say he had something to do with resource cards, but I could be totally wrong on that.
I remember Groot had damage reduction on him, and we had Hulk too.
What did Hulk do?
Hulk? Yeah,
someone or he was one of the random additions to it.
What did he do? Was he just like a 4 base attack for no reason?
He was a massive attack. He had no scheme. I don't even remember what he did. It was something along those lines.
But it's a really cool design, and I had a lot of fun with it. I kind of wish we could have gotten another one in, and I hope Autumn brings it back next year if they come, because I would love to get back in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I had a ton of fun with that.
Honestly, that was probably my favorite play of the weekend, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
high
probably say
praise.
the same thing.
High praise.
Hey,
I was
we've
gonna ask-
got an intruder.
I asked him to unmute, but he hasn't yet.
Because I'm driving.
There he is.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, buddy.
It's a big foam loaf.
Hey, people.
We have a legend in the house.
Well, we have a bitter, angry person in the house.
Oh no.
Hearing your joy and fun and love of the weekend, it just burns me up.
We intentionally threw a game, so
This is how villains are made, Daniel. So it's a good villain story for you.
Does Daniel know that
yeah.
we played against his custom scenario, or the scenario you made for him?
No,
yeah?
he doesn't. He does not know that we played against Dung Beetle.
Oh, I want to hear more about that. So, Dung Beetle me up.
We lost.
Yeah, we lost.
Well,
We lost.
Of course, because Dung Beetle is the most powerful creature on Earth.
Yeah, we played it with the jetpack scenario modular as well, which
that's
I think maybe was a bad idea because it took away from the Dung Beetle, I think. But
I see what you're saying.
The Dung Beetle, what was he doing? He was stealing all our cards and hitting us for a lot of damage. I don't remember how we lost though.
How big did he get?
I thought we won because Miss Marvel like just went like full hone technique. Went aerial and hone technique to Dung Beetle to death.
was that Maka's
Well,
deck?
I imagine Dung Beetle would be susceptible to aerial.
Wait, did we win then? Man, that's the thing. There were so many games I didn't record anything. It's hard for me to remember.
Was that Miss Marvel deck Maka's Miss Marvel deck?
I believe so. I think
Yeah,
so.
that sounds like fun.
Well, Steve, I was just listening in. I don't want to interrupt the train of thought going with your interviews here. So
Okay.
you do what you gotta do. I just wanted to, live vicariously through people who got to have joy.
Well, and I will
Sounds good,
say,
Danny.
I could be wrong on this. I think this might have been CHARR's first Con of Heroes. So, what's the first the perspective as a new, fresh player, or not fresh player, fresh attendee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too.
That is, yeah, me too.
Oh man, I didn't have any expectations going in. Not like as a good or bad thing. It was just like, I'm really into this game. People seem to enjoy going in this every year, so I'm gonna go to it. And even though I had like no expectations at all, it was just such a great time. It kind of like exceeded it in every single way. The people were great. I thought the events that people hosted, all the things and like the alt arts and the stickers and things that people were handing out, it was just like a really welcoming place to be. As someone who got into the game last year, and I had a ton of fun. I think maybe too much fun. My voice is still out from the weekend, and I still haven't caught up on the sleep, but I had a great time.
Good.
Did you come to the con by yourself? And you just solo, or did you show up with someone else that you were friends with?
No, so like in the last year when I got into the game, I managed to rope in one of my friends as well. So me and him flew from Texas to the con. And yeah, I was with someone else. So that was a bit of a help, like an anchor as I was going around the con.
Yeah, it can be a little intimidating when you walk in the room and there's 150 nerds all like moving around. You're like, do I belong here? Do people gonna welcome me? And then hopefully, like you said, everybody's pretty great about it. Did you have
get
trouble
just
finding
sucked
games?
into games? No, not at all. Not. If I wanted to literally not take a break between games, I could have done that the entire weekend. I could have you can just go from game to game to game, and it's like you have to self-regulate yourself, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you have to set aside time. Like, oh, I should probably go eat some food. Like, you definitely have to schedule those things. But we also had a newcomer in our group, first timer, and his name's Matthew, our friend Matthew, and he had a blast too. So it sounds like he'll be coming back as well.
Nice. I'm hearing they're going to maybe try to move it to a larger venue so we can have even more people there. So
yeah, that room of 175 was quite full, which is good.
Yeah. It's interesting because they had the con there last year. The tables were a different orientation, and there were fewer people, but it felt more crowded last year. Like turning the tables the way they did actually made the room bigger.
Yeah, and our first con was 2023, and they had the tables oriented like they did last year that year, but there was only like 120 people-ish, I think, that year. So there was actually quite a bit of space, but yeah, it definitely felt roomier this year, even though the attendance was like way up from previous years.
Yeah. Okay, so we haven't talked with anybody about hero decks because it's a villain show here, but I am interested. Is there a hero deck that you brought with you? You were excited to play, and you got to play it, and it totally didn't work. That's what I want to know. Were you totally just a Marthiel? Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I think it was the second day put together I found it off. I think I found it offline. A protection Valkyrie deck, and I just was like, maybe this will work. Maybe I can use the Change of Fortunes. Did not work. I will say I found this deck, and it stood out to me because it sounded like a Kendrick Lamar song. It's called Bishop 310 to Genosha. Best deck I've ever played. It was amazing. Nitz, the person that built it, kudos to you. It thwarts like no one's business, and I used it when me and CHARR played. It's a great bishop deck, and it was far better than the protection Valkyrie deck I built.
Yeah, that deck was awesome.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm playing bishop right now, so I got to look that up.
For me specifically, any of the decks that I took offline, I feel like way exceeded my expectations. So I had a similar Justice story where there was literally a Miss Marvel deck. It didn't have a ton of like likes or anything. It was just like 3 or 4 player Miss Marvel. It was like the most basic name of all time, and it's like play this deck if you never want to worry about threat. And they weren't lying. It was just like I was zeroing out the main every turn. I was clearing every side scheme, and it was like, wow, this is something that I couldn't have made myself. I guess a funny deck that I brought that I built was 50 card Strange and Protection. I think it was a fun idea, and I think it kind of worked. But if I wanted to make it better, I'd probably cut 10 of the worst cards out of it. But I think I wanted to try it, and I think it was funny in the game that I played it.
I brought Maria Hill and Spider-Man. I only played Maria Hill a couple times. She was probably the most hero I was most excited to play, and I didn't get as many games in with her as I wanted to. But I had a lot of fun with the Spider-Man deck I brought. It was a like a Black Cat recursion deck, so it was just packed with mental resources. I think the final count, including the digging deeps, which are functionally mentals for Black Cat, was like 31 or 32. So I was just constantly just drawing cards and playing like 2 swinging web kicks a turn. So that was really fun.
Nice. Mike and I brought our Lord of the Rings custom hero decks. I had it made for Con of the Rings years ago. I played a Gandalf deck with all these Fellowship heroes, and it was good. And then Mike made this Amarthiel. If you play Lord of the Rings, you'll know he's like a character that FFG created for the Dunedain cycle.
Right. Yep.
And its goal is to have minions engage with him because then he gets bonuses. So, Mike, why don't you tell us what happened?
I had a lot of minions engage with me, and I used them to draw cards, and I did use those cards to get more minions and draw more cards and keep myself protected. I didn't remove any threat. I don't think I killed anything because I couldn't do any damage. I need to rework that a bit.
So you were just rich.
Yeah, he spun his wheels nonstop and just like, okay, I'm over here. You do the rest of it. It was like playing a solo game, and he was there. It was so funny.
Which I guess if you set up the game so that I'll just take care of all the minions, it works. Right. Because that's all I did. Yeah, but if there was if you want me to help, or if I have to take out any one of those minions to take out the bad guy, no, we're out of luck. I'm sorry.
Right. I'm just gonna draw cards instead.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, now I'll play another "Come Get Me" bump.
Have another minion engage with me and do nothing with it. Yeah.
That sounds.
I can also
hilarious.
say that reflecting back on the Carnage scenario, I realized that I had a Scarlet Witch deck, and I should have built her to focus more on whatever her aspect was. I think it was Justice. I don't remember now. But I should have thought more about the fact that there are other people that will do whatever thing I didn't need to do. I should have just focused on, if it was Justice, I should have just focused on threat instead of being like, and I'll also put some attack events in here. Because, that deck didn't do anything. And it was just like, survive against Carnage because there's 3 other people that have built correctly for multiplayer.
Yeah, I actually liked the epic multiplayer Carnage. So we also played the single table version of Carnage on Saturday, and it was definitely better as the epic multiplayer. What we found was if you were doing too well, the first part of the game wouldn't progress. So we were like 4 or 5 rounds in, and we only had like 3 or 4 cultist tokens on the environment. So we kind of had to like intentionally progress the game so we could actually finish and win, which is fine. I mean, it was obviously definitely designed for epic multiplayer, but I think if you play in single table, you may want to add like add a cultist token to Here to Slay after like step 1 of the villain phase or something, just to kind of help progress the game a little bit. But it was fun. Carnage was a good scenario.
Nice. Ryan, you and I played on Sunday.
Oh, I forgot. I played a Wookiee deck.
May the 4th, so it was Star Wars Day. We played my Star Wars champions. You played Chewbacca, and I played Luke, and we went up against the Death Star.
2 years in a row for that, right?
Yeah. We lost to the Death Star. It made it around the moon and blew up Yavin 4 by 3 hit points after cheating a couple times during the game. But yeah, whatever. It was fun. I had a good time. There was another group. Eric played a 4-player game with the Brant and his crew, and they played it. Yep. They played it as well. He brought his own He printed out copies, and he played. And then later on, I played with Josh and someone else. My other scenario, the Grand Inquisitor. So I got like 3 Star Wars games in Marvel Champions versions on Star Wars Day at the con, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's on my my to print list. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I made some changes. So, like, found some errors and erratas and a couple tweaks that from this. So it was good testing. And made a couple tweaks, so it's improved.
All right,
New and improved. Yeah,
I'm ready to print.
great. All right, well, guys, this has been really fun. Do you have any final stories or anything else you want to talk about that we forgot to mention about the con?
Nothing. Nothing crazy. Just a personal, hilarious final game interaction with Bishop, where I had a handful of resource cards, healed after I got attacked, healed to more HP than I started the attack with, and then immediately drew my obligation and discarded all my resources. It was great.
Oh, nice.
It was
Nice.
perfect.
Pretty good.
I think
And
I
that
would
happened-
say. Oh, go
That
ahead.
happened like 3 times that day too, because we played more after we left the con, and it still happened.
I would say if you're hesitant to give it a try as someone who went from the first time, obviously if you have the means to make it out, you should. You won't regret it, even if you come with nobody. Just make it out. You will have a great time. Trust me. And if you don't, well, you can send me an angry message on Discord. But I doubt I'd receive very many of those.
Yeah, and I'll
Yeah.
say I am just so happy that like the alt art community was able to just come out in full force and make a very memorable experience for attendees old and new, because those custom art cards were awesome, and I'm so happy that people got to have that, because I'm not someone that collects like the official OP stuff, and so just to have an alternate art Thor or Iceman was just really cool.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for sharing your stories. Thanks for coming on. Look forward to playing more games with you next year at the con. Let's make sure we connect and play some games.
For sure. Thanks for having us. It was a blast. It was nice to talk and to meet everybody, and looking forward to it again next year.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks all.
Thank you.
All right, we are back one more time. Mike has been abducted by a green dragon hand puppet, so we have lost Mike. But we have 3 other wonderful folks on. We have a band of Sirens. Aaron, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Good. We're also joined by Caldias or Craig. Craig, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. And Man-Is-Obsolete. I don't know your actual name.
It's Michael.
Michael.
Yes, I'm doing great. Yes.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. How you holding up after having to go back to reality from 4 days of kind of heroes?
Rough, man.
Yeah, the rehumanization has not been kind.
Yeah, for sure. It's just catching up on sleep finally. So that's one thing.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, sleep's important. We did not get a lot of sleep. Before we say anything else, I want to say to Band of Sirens a humongous thank you for driving the Minion clown car around and picking up people at the airport and bringing us to the convention and stopping here and stopping there and giving everybody rides in. It was a super helpful, really great thing you did.
You're very welcome. Glad to be able to help.
Yeah.
Yes. And shout out to anybody else who did that while they were there as well. If anybody's listening, I know a few people were doing that. That's really cool.
Yeah, the community is so great. The fact that the locals could just like take care of us in that way was wonderful.
Right.
My Uber back to the airport on the way out, there was like 6 of us jammed into a car that holds 5 people. So we got real cozy with folks. So
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice to make friends early.
Yeah. Okay, did you guys spend the whole con there? Were you there like Thursday to Sunday? Anything weird with your travels going on? Anyone get pulled out by customs or TSA for your cards?
Mine was super smooth actually going through. I didn't bring like my whole collection or anything. I had like a like the GameGenic layer thing. I had that and like one other small thing. So didn't get anything like that, but I was there from Thursday through Monday. This year I actually stayed through Monday because it was always kind of a bummer that last day. It just felt like, I don't know. I always felt that way as a kid. Like that last day always just was like, well, you're always dreading that moment where you have to leave. So this year I was like, I'm just going to stay for one more night. So I don't have to have that feeling all day of like having to go to the airport or whatever while people are still playing.
I hear you on that. I was able to stay to like 5:45 or something, which is the
Yeah.
longest I've been. So it was like 15 more minutes and the con would be over. But
Yeah, right.
I guess we're leaving now. The Uber's here.
Right.
So, have you guys come to the con before, or is this your first one? I have a feeling that you've been to these before.
My first one was last one. I came like I think Wednesday and left Sunday, but this time, like Michael, I stayed over till Monday because I felt horrible. I had to leave early on Sunday, and it sucked to miss out on a full day. And it was like the free range day where you could just do whatever. So I felt like I was like, nah, I kind of want to be there for that this time.
Yeah, last con was my first as well.
Okay, so we're all one con veterans at least, so that's good.
I'm 3, so
3. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, no.
All right. So, what'd you think of this year's campaign compared to previous year's campaign?
Having been there for 3 years, I think my favorite was still the first year I was there. I guess that was 2023. There was like a Kang multiverse meltdown, I want to say, is what it was called. I felt like that one had the most, or like maybe the best interaction to me amongst the tables. Like there was actually some interesting things happening between the tables and things like that. There was like a multiverse keyword, so anytime that was triggered, it had to trigger something somewhere else. So it was always kind of something going on. I really liked that one a lot. That was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, I haven't played that one, but what do you guys think of this year's, Craig? What do you think of this year's campaign?
I liked it. I was a little salty about the amplify plus hazard suit that the villain got, and that kind of messed us up pretty good.
That was gnarly.
I was like, what is happening?
Surely the reward was worth it, I would say to myself.
The one that gave the like my games the most trouble was the one that had you taking indirect damage. Ended up screwing up a lot of our tables. You know, we had people splitting that damage into allies in order to stay alive. Or in one case, my allies were gone and I was down to 2 health, so went bye-bye.
Yeah, because we, in the campaign this year, like you could play any scenario you wanted, and you sort of picked a symbiote suit that was attached to the villain, and then if you won, you got to flip the suit over and it was attached to the heroes, right? That's the basic concept of how the campaign worked.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea, and I liked it. I just thought that one was like, gee, I think we were playing against Mojo, and that was really challenging.
Already a hard scenario.
Or maybe we're doing something else. What, Michael, do you remember? I think I was playing with you, right? What was
Yeah,
the
I
last
can't remember
one?
what we were doing. But yeah, it was basically like, what if it was heroic and everything was villainous? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or
Yeah.
had a what is it? Amplify. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Did you guys use any of the challenge cards for the scenarios this year?
I did not.
The reason I didn't was because I didn't want to bring the challenge scenarios because I figured other people would bring them, and that was incorrect. I think some people did, but none of the people that I played with did bring them because I wanted more room for decks, like player decks. But yeah, I didn't end up playing them.
I honestly haven't even looked at the challenges yet. I've got them right in front of me now, though. So let's see.
Kind of just, yeah.
They're pretty fun. So the challenge cards is just like one card that you pull out and it names a specific scenario and a modular set, and then it changes a rule. So when we played the campaign, one of our scenarios was Sandman. We ended up with the indirect damage suit attached to Sandman, and we decided we'd play the campaign with the challenge cards, which was more indirect damage. So it was like indirect damage, and Sandman would trigger. Then when Surging Sands triggered, you take more indirect damage. It was a challenge, that's for sure.
I've heard from people who did do a few of them that they went really long, so that kind of scared me off of them a little bit because I was trying to get more games in with a lot of different people, kind of, you know. So I didn't want to be like, let's play a 4-hour Mysterio game.
That one was really hard. I heard. I didn't play that one, but the Risky Business one was really nice. I think it, like, if you ever think I don't really like this, like, play with the challenge card, and I think it'll could change your opinion on the scenario. So
those type of things I'm really excited to do once I'm back home. That's always a cool thing too. Is a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff you get to take back home with you, and like I can still do more stuff with this because you only get like one chance at it sometimes at the con.
Yeah.
Reading
what were
that
the
Mysterio card now, that's a pretty gnarly one. Having to shuffle your Nemesis set into your deck after mulliganing?
Yeah. So
That's-
everybody gets to see their nemesis in the first few rounds. Yeah. It's hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not a walk in the park.
So how many times did you guys lose? Like how many villain victories? Because that's what we care about here, right? How many villain victories did you have in your games?
I'm thinking 3. I think at least there might be more that I'm forgetting. I know that you actually helped the villain in one of my games that I was in, Steve.
Was that our first Thunderbolt scenario?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I was playing Magneto. I might have let the villains win there somehow or something. That's what I'm going to go with. I didn't just die.
You won twice, but we only won once.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I think we lost 2 games. One of which was we were running Spiral with the campaign, and I think it was she had the Incite one, and with her, constantly scheming and then having all that extra insight on all the encountered cards, it, no pun intended, spiraled out of control really fast.
Michael actually had a really cool Mojo build. You want to tell him about that, Michael?
Yeah. So I was doing Mojo with, I think it's called Streets of Mayhem, whatever. It's in the hood where there's like a 4-card mod set that has the environments with the setting trait on it.
Yeah.
So I used one of each of those and assigned them to a mod. So like Back Alley Enclave was the Hound mod, for instance. Which, if you don't know, the Back Alley Enclave does like +1 attack. And if you don't know, the Hounds, if you're in hero form, they attack you if you're in hero form when they're revealed. So Mojo, when he decks out and starts dealing out all those cards, all of a sudden you have a ton of Hounds like attacking you with +1, like popping out of the alley. Like Mojo kind of threw you into an alley, so to speak. And then, so yeah, just try to use those. It was kind of a fun way of like experimenting with the mods in that Mojo scenario. And yeah, we definitely lost. I think we did play that in the campaign. I think it was like the hazard and amplified thing with the suit attachment that goes on the villain. So we definitely lost. That was one of the losses for sure. Another one was actually Collector 2, which I know sometimes gets a rep for being easy sometimes. I think that might be, it's a little bit easier for sure in solo. And if you build for it with like very thwarty stuff, you can definitely be easy in higher player counts. But we also played it with Atlas, who showed up turn 1 and immediately got an attachment that gave him hazard. So
nice.
that was a problem.
That is quality. That's quality minion there.
Yeah, so if you don't know, every turn he gets a growth counter, which gives him +2 hit points. So yeah, that was a 22 HP minion that we had to deal with. I guess we kind of had to deal with. We felt like we needed to deal with, let's say. And yeah, it just gave the collector enough room to breathe to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Do you guys bring any specific heroes with you that you really enjoyed? Like you had been waiting for this 4-player game with this deck and it finally popped off because you got to play, or
Nothing particular that I was like hoping would pop off, but I did play a lot of Domino, who I haven't played in a while, and I forgot how much fun she is. Definitely put her back in my top 3.
Yeah, she's great. One of the decks I was kind of excited to play with, and was a Grant Ward, kind of like looping Grant Ward as much as possible. He's like a 0-cost ally in this Shield wave that just released. So I had like a Nick Fury deck that like made the call for him and would like get rid of him with "You Got This" and stuff like that. And you could use the Black Panther ally to like bring back, make the call for Grant Ward, bring him back in, like all this crazy like looping shenanigans with Grant Ward. And Tyler, TheRomeo, he played a Black Widow deck using the same shell basically. And so we were just tossing Grant Ward back and forth to each other and like using up Grant Ward command teams and stuff like that. I think Grant Ward activated, I want to say like 8 to 10 times in one round. So that was fun. It's like
Dang.
one of those
Wow,
things that's kind of like that's possible in multiplayer where you couldn't really feel that in like a solo game kind of.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun game.
Yeah.
I played a little Nightcrawler protection.
A little?
A little? Was it like every single game?
It was like in the 80% range, I think.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Caldias is, I think your favorite hero is Nightcrawler. I mean,
Yeah.
is that fair to
Yeah.
say?
I think that's okay to say. Yeah.
And you gave out cool alt art Nightcrawler cards.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I found out pretty quick. I didn't print nearly enough of them because I ran out like almost the first day of the con. Like I was giving them out Thursday a lot, and then I was like, oh man, I should have printed more. But next time I'll bring more for sure, and might make some new ones just for fun.
Yeah, I like how you had like the hero art was the same, but there were different alter egos on the back.
Yeah, I found 4 okay alter egos, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like those. I got a ton. Did you guys get a bunch of swag this con?
Yes. And shout out to Band of Sirens as well. He made a bunch of
Oh yeah,
alt
that's right.
art. Yeah. I really liked the I was using, I think my last game of the con was like at the airport Monday, and I played Magic and was using Band of Sirens alt art.
Yes, love to hear it.
Yeah, so I love those, like the X23 one. Like those two having like pink alter ego just makes me want to play both of those, like play them like in a 2-player game together and stuff like that.
Makes me very happy to hear that.
Yeah, I was joking afterwards. I was like, I'm kind of excited and scared for like my luggage next year to see how this escalates, because there's so much like cool stuff. Like last year, I don't remember that much custom content. I think there was a little bit, but man, it was like blown out the door this year. It was great. It was really cool stuff.
Yeah, because Corbin made a bunch of them, and I think sent them to
Boomguy.
Boomguy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who also made a bunch.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
Band of Sirens helped with that too, right? Am I right with that? Maybe.
I made all the cards for Boomguy for Winning Hand. Yeah.
Oh
Very
wow,
cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the pack had like some of the cards had like a winning hand logo, and some of them had your little you and your little yellow toque.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The trademark yellow beanie were the ones I was passing out, as well as the ones the Cyclops that MrSelfDestruct was passing out.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, there were the really large cards that Sandy brought. Those were really cool. Did you get any of those?
Forget. Yeah, that guy was awesome. He allowed people to like look through an iPad, and like he's like, yeah, just say which alter ego you want and say which hero you want, and I might be able to print them tonight and bring them tomorrow. And I did that for like 2 of them, and he straight up did it, and there was like super high quality. I don't know what he did. I guess he lives in the area. I don't know, but they were like, he just had them the next day. It's like, wow.
Yeah, he is local to the con.
Yeah, those are really cool. I snagged a Magneto. So
nice.
Yeah, the alt arts were definitely like my favorite part, especially since there hasn't been official ones for a while. So it was really cool to be able to get some, and I actually got really lucky. Like my son loves Miles, and I was able to trade Drax for Miles, and then
I traded that to you.
You did, yeah. I think that's right. And the only ones I feel bummed, like the Black Widow one was probably one of my favorite. It was so cool. And the Scarlet Witch one, I wanted those, but couldn't get to trade them, so I'll have to keep an eye out next year. Hopefully they'll bring them back.
Yeah, the trading was really cool. Kind of like getting to know people, and it's like, oh, you're one of your favorite heroes is this hero. Well, I actually picked up that all art, and I don't love them as much, so let's maybe see what we can do to trade or something like that. And some people were like super stoked to do those type of things, and that was a really fun element. It kind of like added to the social aspect of it, if you will, like because sometimes it's hard to get a bunch of nerds to talk to each other.
Yeah, there was a good icebreaker. You know what's funny is FFG did the official OP kits, and they were booster packs, right? And the community like lost their mind and hated it, and then the community does it, and we're like, "This is amazing! We love it!" It's so funny. It's such an interesting take on things.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess maybe that's because there's like 150 people, so you could really just trade. And maybe if you just got a pack at your game store and you play with 2 people, the same 2 people you always play with, it's not as exciting.
Right. Yeah. Most of the people that that I saw that wanted specific heroes were able to find someone to trade with and get their favorites, which was really cool. The general response to these cards was a lot of fun to see. Definitely made all the hard work worth it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's inspired me to do some alt art villains for next year. So
do
And,
it.
Do it.
Yep. Did you guys play in any of the extra stuff like the Loki scenario that ran or the Ghost Spider thing or any of those kind of events that kind of happened on the spur of the moment?
I did the Loki one. It was kind of cool. It basically changed out the Loki villain for like you're playing against like I guess Loki is being like a little trickster and making some heroes kind of go lose their mind and fight you. So you're actually fighting against like Black Panther, or you're fighting against Rocket Raccoon, or you're fighting against Ghost Spider, things like that. So it's kind of cool. It's like actually custom villains that you're playing against. It was really fun. Like a lot of those massive multiplayer like table games, you're only as fast as your slowest table, if you will. Not in a bad way, but like if one table defeats, you're supposed to like defeat 3 of the villains, but one table could defeat 3 of the villains and be done, but another table hasn't defeated one yet, which also could be affected by player count. So, anyways, it was interesting, but it was still a lot of fun, like in the moment. But then towards the end, it kind of drags a little bit because you're kind of waiting at that point for things to finish. But yeah,
or you could be at the table where I'm playing Magneto again and we lose. So
yeah. Oddly enough, if you had somebody like just playing in a corner by themselves solo, they would just win the game for everybody because they would just be beating villains in way faster time than a 4-player game would. So it has like that problem of like some of those massive multiplayer type things, but
yeah,
it was still fun.
Yeah. How about the bingo cards? Did you guys get those and did you use them? How'd you do? I want to hear what happened.
They were a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
thought that was a cool little addition, like little added kind of meta game. And at several games I played, it did have somewhat of an impact on who people decided to play, just so they could fill in their boxes and whatnot.
So like there was 2 of them. One of them was like general achievements, like finish a game with full health or play all justice or something. And that one was really cool. But I also really liked the one, I think her name is Bananas. She made one that was like randomized heroes in a 5x5 grid with a wild space in the middle. But what you're supposed to do is people can only sign it once, but if someone at your table played that hero, they're supposed to sign the box. And I thought that was a really cool way to kind of drive you to maybe outside your comfort zone, go play with other people and try to like collect signatures. I did not do very well on the signature collection. I did complete the other one.
Yeah, those are really cool.
I don't think I completed the paper one, the general achievements, but I definitely got bingo a couple times on that. That was fun. We even altered our game at the end. We're like, no, if you heal, we'll all be at 9 health and we can check off this bingo square. So like it impacted the game. And there was like one of the choices on that was like randomly decide a game element, like roll a die for something.
Yeah.
So we had something come up and we're like, all right, we're going to roll a die and whoever it is, this is what they target that character or something like that. So that was fun. That was a good one. And I turned mine in and he gave me like a little alt art Spider-Man or something. So that was cool.
Yeah. That was Marcel. I don't remember his Discord name. But yeah, those were a lot of fun. As we mentioned earlier about like that social aspect, Craig mentioned on the one you couldn't have the same person sign it again, and obviously you couldn't sign your own. So it was encouraging you to go find different heroes that maybe you haven't played in a game with. So that's kind of cool in and of itself. So you don't just see like Silk or whoever over and over and over again. But also playing with different people and starting up games with different people instead of just kind of sticking with who you're familiar with, if you will. Just trying to branch out and strike up conversations with people, random people.
Yeah, that impacted a few choices too. Somebody's like, I still need to play with somebody playing Hulk. Yeah. I was like, oh, I have a Hulk deck. Okay, bust it out. So
For sure.
Yeah, I saw someone in the main community server saying that they got screwed on their bingo card because they had like Hulk, Valkyrie, and Spectrum all on the same sheet.
I played Spectrum, so
Oh,
they
wow.
could have come to me. I'd have played with them. So
You just had to find the two. There was two guys. They brought their whole entire collection, so you just had to find them and be like, "Just need you to play with one of these
just play
heroes."
Spectrum. Yeah.
Cook
Yeah.
something up for me. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So you mentioned Silk a minute ago. I'm curious, like as far as the new heroes go, did you guys see them played much? Like I think I saw Shuri played once in the games I participated in, and didn't see Silk at all.
I did. I played a Silk deck that Tony Fanchi handed me to play. It was a precon during the campaign. Not the camp. Was it the campaign? No, it was the massive multiplayer game.
Yeah, the Carnage thing.
Carnage. Yeah, I played with Boomguy, Eric, and Tony. And Tony's like, "Do you want to play Silk?" And he just handed me a precon, so I played that.
Nice.
And also, Will from Meeple's Professionals, Funkymonkeymonk, he had brought a bunch because he's a store, so he had some. And he wanted to play midnight. He was like, at midnight we're gonna bust out all these packs because I can't release them before that on Thursday. Thursday to Friday. We never quite got to do it at that time, but the next day we played. It was like 2 precon Shuris and 2 precon Silks in one game. We're like, we don't care, it's multiverse, and we just kind of played that. So that was cool.
That's really cool.
They're both fun. They both seem fun, and with deck building options, I think it'd be really fun. So
Yeah. Of all the new heroes, like Shuri looked fun to me, like when she was announced, but like I wasn't like super excited. But after actually having seen her played, she seems really cool. Like seems like a really good update on T'Challa instead.
yeah, and I think the Dora Milaje little kit there. I hope they do more of those. That seemed really enjoyable to like get these allies out and try to keep them out, and they do these little things. They interact with each other, and they're sort of like their own little pod. And I'm hoping they can do that with other little minor teams. You might not get a whole wave of these teams, but you might be able to get this little pod of cards, which was a neat idea.
It was a cool way to introduce more support for like a core set hero. That was cool.
Yep. All right. Well, we've been talking for a while now. I don't even know how long. But is there anything else from the con that we haven't got a chance to talk about that you guys really want to say or comment on?
I appreciated the food trucks.
Yes.
This year. I mean, there's decent food nearby as well, but it is hard to sometimes break off. Like, there's that FOMO thing where you're there. It's like, I could walk like 30 minutes and go get some really nice lunch or dinner, but then I'm like missing out on all these games. People are starting something, but the food trucks were like right there. You can bring it back to the table and eat inside, and and somebody is like kind of hitting you up and saying like, hey, our game's about to end in 10 minutes and stuff. So that was really cool. I hope they do something like that again in the future. I will say by like Sunday, I was a little disappointed to see the red wagon out there again. I was like, oh no. I wanted something a little different by that day. So I think I did actually go out and try to eat somewhere else that day. But yeah. It was really cool.
I was more than happy to eat at the Japanese food truck each day.
Oh,
like, it was so much better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking con. Hopefully we all get to play games with each other next Con of Heroes next year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are back with another group. It is just me, Steve. It is now late, and Mike and Daniel are not here still. But I don't need them because I have 4 other wonderful people with me. So let's say hi to Will, the Funkymonkeymonk. Hi, Will.
Hello.
And Rowan, our ChaosDonut.
Hello.
Dvader is here as well. I don't know if I know your actual name. I'm sorry for that.
That's okay. It's Chris.
Chris. And MrSelfDestruct has joined us as well. I forgot your name.
That's all right, Derek. And you got all the New Yorkers on. You got all the New Yorkers together.
Yeah.
Okay, Derek.
Well,
that's right. Not Darren, but Derek.
I think you had Darren already tonight. Yeah,
I did have Darren on. Yeah, yep, he came on first. He was my roommate for the con. So,
Oh, nice.
so you guys are out of the New York City group, right? Are you all know each other outside of the con, right?
All too well. We play together once or twice a month usually.
Pretty well. And new releases, we tend to. I think this is the crew that tends to do a campaign run through. Sometimes I can do that as well.
That's right. We all got together at Will's place to run through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in one day.
Okay, so you guys play together all the time, and then decided to leave New York and go all the way to Roseville, Minnesota, to play even more.
Yeah, I mean the table space is incredible.
It's all for the table space.
just slightly bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could put full mats out and stuff, and have drinks. It's crazy.
You see, I love to travel and go see other places and just not meet other people.
Well, we'd have like 3 New Yorkers who just rotate a new person in, so it wasn't too overwhelming for us or for them. You know.
That's good. Yeah. Have you guys all been to the con before? I know a few of you definitely have, but Vader, have you been to the Con of Heroes in the past?
No, this is my first one.
First one. What'd you think?
I thought it was outstanding. This will definitely not be my last one.
Yes. All year long, we were pushing Chris to come because we know even before last year's. I think we were trying to push you to go, right?
Yeah, I've been wanting to. I've just always had some kind of family thing or other thing come up first weekend of May, but stars aligned this year, and I'm going to pull them into alignment every year after.
I mean, the truth was we had henchmen hired already, so if you hadn't said you were coming this year, you were being kidnapped.
I mean, I could have gotten a free plane ticket.
Oh no, we would have charged you for the kidnapping.
So we've talked a lot about this con with a bunch of other people, but one of the interesting and unique things that I did with you guys is we played some Shuri and Silk, like multiverse or whatever we want to call it, right? We had a couple. Will, you brought decks or packs of these characters that were hard to get. You know, they hadn't been released, and we got to play them after they were officially released, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really loved. I loved getting to see what Shuri and Silk could really do, especially not just their precons.
Yeah. I think you handed me a precon, and I played one, and you were also playing Shuri at the same time, so that was interesting.
It was fun watching you guys roll the dice to see who got the obligation when you pull it.
Right. And that scored us a bingo.
It did.
Yeah. What would you say is one of your, like, do you have a favorite memory? Did you have a game that had something interesting happen? Like, game-wise memory? What do you got? Hit me with something.
My favorite was probably the multiverse Loki scenario that I believe it was Autumn who brought it. That was a ton of fun to see how they had transformed every so-called hero into a dastardly villain and really kept the thematics of their kit intact. Like Storm would get and lose counters to change the weather, kind of like her weather decking have very similar effects. And Rogue would gain the ability of one of the other villains in the stack. Drax would get stronger as you hit him. Thor would get a boost card every time you played an ally. That was really fun, and seeing swapping different heroes between the different tables. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really great. It felt really balanced and at the same time also very thematic. All the heroes felt like, yeah, that makes sense that's what they would do. And I think they swapped out enough to keep it fresh.
Yeah, I played in that. I must have been at the other end of the table. We've had a few people come on and talk about it, and you guys mentioned a bunch of heroes I had never seen, so that's really neat to hear what some of the other ones did. Because I didn't see Storm or Rogue or Thor. Yeah, ours were super thematic as well.
I think the only way you could swap villains was, I think, Deadpool. At the end of the villain phase, you would swap him with the table with the most acceleration icons. So we got him at some point.
There was also you could swap with a different table as well. That happened to our table, and it was actually really beneficial because we were struggling against the particular villain we were fighting, and then we're swapped out for, I think, Valkyrie, and did much better against her.
Yeah, there was that like TVA support card that you could use once per game, right?
Yeah, Will, I think you used that, right?
Yeah, Rowan and I were at different tables, and I was playing a ally heavy Maria Hill deck, and by that I mean a deck with Maria Hill in it.
Of course.
The leadership ally.
Yeah. So when we pulled Valkyrie, whose ability, like gave her bonuses every time, she killed an ally. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it made it so it was really detrimental to chump block or have allies die. I looked at that and said, no, just no, this isn't happening. Picked up the villain, walked over to Rowan's table and said, so what do you got for me? I was kind of hoping it was going to trash their game a little bit, but no, I ended up getting something that was really useful, and I got Groot, who was great for us because we could blow right through his toughness.
Nice.
I think one of the tables got eliminated. Was that yours, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, that what? I remember you coming up to this. Yeah.
We had too much threat out and too many crisis icons, and I think we only had 3 justice decks, so we couldn't handle it.
Only 3.
Only 3.
We
Yeah.
had 2 justice decks, and that felt pretty good justice wise.
Yeah, we just kind of got swarmed with side schemes. So
we had 2, and I'll have to admit, I hope Autumn and my table doesn't mind, that it was her idea. About 2 rounds into the game, we were overwhelmed with side schemes, and she looked at both our justice players and asked where even the odds was, and neither of them had packed it. So I took a quick trip to Shield HQ and brought us some even the odds to maybe go in the deck in the middle of the game.
Nice. Okay.
Now,
GD Heroes?
It was sanctioned by Autumn, who was running the event. So
yeah.
Oh yes,
I
it's
put
totally
all the blame
legal,
on
yeah.
Autumn.
Just
Exactly.
adaptability. That's all.
Yeah.
I think some adaptability is fair.
Yeah,
but yeah,
there
no,
we go.
even the odds I think was a pretty essential card for that scenario.
Yeah,
I
there was
used it so much; it was great.
There was a clear before and after moment when we added those to the justice decks.
So what sort of heroes did you guys bring with you? Do you have one that like sticks out that you really enjoyed that you brought?
I brought 11 decks, and
okay.
did end up playing all of them. Some certainly more than others, and I found myself gravitating towards aggression more than I ever thought I would. I would not usually consider myself an aggression main, but I just had a ton of fun. Maybe it was being in 4-player games and just wanting to guarantee that someone was there to push damage, but I played a lot of Ghost Spider and Cyclops in aggression, and those are the 2 decks that I kind of kept going back to.
I have 2 favorite con decks, both of which I brought, which was Captain America Justice deck, although that's been replaced by a Jubilee Justice deck, which I've been really enjoying, and Gwen Stacy Protection. I think the Gwen Stacy Protection was part of my my other favorite event at the con, which was an impromptu all Gwen Stacy, all protection games. It started out as, let's just have a group of us, we can play a 4-player game, it'll be super fun. And we had at least 5 tables full of people. So I haven't talked to the organizers about this, but I'm hoping to do so, and then perhaps next year have some kind of multiverse game where it's all Gwen Stacy Protection, because I think she's a lot of fun to play. And playing with 4 of her or with 3 others of her is kind of crazy and a lot of fun. So, yeah.
And I mean that kind of happened, right? Like people were playing those games, a bunch of tables with Gwen Stacy.
Oh yeah,
but nothing like
it wasn't like a multiverse game. It was just we're all going to be doing this just because it was somewhat impromptu. But I think with more planning, we could turn this into a pretty exciting multiverse game, which I think is also thematic for her in particular, with having Ticket to the Multiverse as part of her set.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people know ahead of time to bring those decks. Yep.
Exactly. And like in this case, people didn't know ahead of time to bring those decks, except for like maybe a few people who we'd played with before. And there were still just so many people coming out of the woodwork for that. So that was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely this Carnage Spider theme of the con, I think, I doubt anybody showed up without one Web Warrior in their box, And,
yeah.
I do think Gwen Stacy is up there with the most fun of the Web Warriors.
Agreed.
Personally.
So how many villain victories took place? That's what we need to know on this show here.
I had 5.
So last year, Daniel said to said to a bunch of us, and he was asking like, how many times did the villain actually win? Like, and was calling a lot of us out for playing on standard. Ever since, I've been playing more on hard and with harder scenarios. And I can honestly say that the villain won about half the time I was playing. And that is because in many cases I was playing hard or, something else, or I was putting on additional challenges to just really make it painful.
Yeah, you did seem like you wanted to really suffer this time around, which, that's good. Good for you.
Just to
we played
call
some
Chris out a
standard
little
2. We played some standard 2 games. So, talk about suffering.
Just to call Chris out a little bit, one of the great things about him, one of the reasons we really wanted him to come to this con is not just because we thought he'd have a great time, but he comes up with some of the most delightfully outrageous and painful scenarios that we play locally, and they're a lot of fun. They're quite a bit of a challenge. So to put you on the spot, Chris, have you got any inspiration coming out of this con for new scenarios?
I don't seek pain, I seek thematics. That's where the claw with inheritors that we played, Steve, that absolutely wiped the floor with us the first time we went through. Second time we managed to pull it out, but yeah, lost to that. And then, Will, you and I lost to Mysterio 3 times in a row playing with the toxin symbiote suit that came with the con, and the challenge where we used Wrecking Crew as the modular set and Shuffler Nemesis is in.
Oof. That
You
does
used
sound
the
brutal.
challenge card? Yeah, the challenge card. That's what you're saying. Yeah, that was. I enjoyed the other 2. I did not play the Mysterio one. So
One of my losses was against the Risky Business challenge card that I did in a 3-player game.
Nice.
It made that scenario interesting. That's for sure.
I really liked that one in particular.
Yeah.
I think I might just use that.
Yeah,
straight
adding
up.
the icons forced you you can't just stay in Norman Osborn for too long, and yeah, it added some fun mechanics.
Yeah, and I think even to this day, I think his do 3 damage, and then when you flip him, he does 4 damage. He's basically just doing 7 unpreventable damage in that home stretch. Is
yeah, it was
a
brutal.
little underrated.
Yeah. Yep. Do you guys have any fun swag? Did you guys do? I saw people signing playmats. Did you do that? Did you get any good raffle prizes? The booster packs. What do you think? Any fun alternate art? What happened?
Yeah, the alternate art was I thought the main story of the con this year versus this is only my second one, but I thought that was amazing. Not just Boomguy, Band of Sirens, and the pack, and Corbin who were in the packs that they handed out, but then so many random pieces of art coming from everywhere, and I have so many cards from so many different people. That was a real highlight, and something I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see that expand even further next year.
It was really fun that some people seem to bring just. Like I know, Doug, you brought 1 billion Cyclops cards because he's your favorite, and somebody else is passing in a bunch of Spider-Woman, someone's passing on a bunch of Jubilee just to make sure this is my favorite hero. I'm going to give everybody an alt art. My prized possession I'm walking away from the con with is I got Tony to sign my Psylocke card.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, that was great. They were really present this year, even more so I felt than last year, which was fantastic.
Yeah, did you guys sit and listen to the panel when the devs were talking?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think most of us got front row seats for that.
Yeah,
we just so happened.
Yeah, it was not planned. We just happened to be sitting there.
Nice.
I thought the bingo was fun. We didn't have that. I don't think we had that last year.
We did not. Yeah, that was a new thing that just people did. Again,
Yeah,
that wasn't
it was
the
lovely.
organizers, just random folks. So that was fun. Did you guys get bingo?
Yes, but Marcel had run out of prizes.
Oh, was it Marcel that did the bingo?
He did
Marcel did
the large
one.
paper one.
Yeah.
Was he the gentleman from Germany? Is that right?
Correct.
I didn't get a game in with him until I think I had the last game with him before he left for his flight Sunday night, and he was just a joy to play with. What a funny guy.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah, I did not get a game in with him. The funny thing I found was I played, I don't know how many games, right? We heard Boomguy played 40 and some people played 15. So somewhere between 15 and 40 games I played. And there's still people I didn't get to play with. Or I only got to play with one time. Or
yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, I
know if
was
Derek,
there.
you and I played a game. I don't.
We did on. I
Was
think
it
we did on
early?
Thursday. Yeah, early Thursday. I think we got a couple games
Was
in.
it Thunderbolts right
Um,
away?
It
At
wasn't
the hotel?
Thunderbolts. But Thunderbolts was one of my losses. And that
Yeah,
was
mine too.
we did play that on Expert. But we made the mistake of, in all the hubbub of, I think that was like the first event of the con, right? So we were all overstimulated, having a great time. We shuffled in Standard 1 and the Symbiote Standard set, and we're just so confused about how the villain was getting so many extra activations.
How was he attacking so many times?
Because the Symbiote Standard set was brand new to us, we barely looked at the cards. It wasn't until after we lost, we looked at the deck and thought, "Oh, this might explain it." We were close. We had one turn, and one more turn, I think we would have had it. It was a lot of fun though, but that was a very epic defeat.
Nice. Yeah, you got to lose some, right? What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, to your point of not getting in games with everyone, I came in extra. I came in on Wednesday late afternoon and left Monday late afternoon. So I was there quite a long time, and still there's so many folks that I spoke with and didn't get a chance to game with, and other ones that I didn't even get a chance to meet. So it just means got to come back next year and try again.
Yeah, let's all come back next year, right?
I'm down. That's sounds like fun.
Yeah. All right. So we've been talking for a little while. Is there anything else, anything special, any kind of story or something we haven't talked about that you really wanted to talk about or bring up or say before we kind of wrap up this segment?
I just want to give a huge shout out to the whole community. Everybody was so super nice. I didn't hear anybody criticize anybody's deck for not being optimized or efficient or top tier or playing a certain hero. Everyone was super welcoming. I'm very nervous meeting new people, but no one was unwelcoming at their table. We're always happy to have folks sit down. And a huge, huge thank you to everybody who helped organize anything that happened that whole weekend. It's a Herculean effort, and it went off tremendously.
Yeah, I think this year, I think all that was apparent to me last year when I came, but I was still very new, kind of like maybe Chris was this year. But I did feel like I saw a growth this year in so many people beyond the organizers, like the core four, or whatever we want to call them. So many more people adding to the festivities. Everyone from Boomguy organizing the food trucks and giving out the cards to Funkymonkeymonk and Rowan on the pod right now, organizing snacks for us Saturday night in the cramped spaces of the Johanna room at the hotel.
Oh, okay. So you guys had mentioned that you were going to do something about snacks, and then at one point there was snacks, and that was you guys. That was wonderful. Thank you very, very, very much. Because I ate like a ton of those snacks.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, somebody's like, "There's snacks down there," and I went down. I'm like, I don't know. I want one of these, and 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 I don't know what this thing is. There was some little Japanese cake thing. I'm like, I take one of these.
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah, and I ate a bunch of them, and like 2 of them were still in my bag on the plane ride, and I was like, yes, score. So I ate some on the plane ride home. So
yeah, some of those definitely made it back to New York with me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anyone asked you guys to do that. You just thought, I'm going to try to get back to the community as best I can. And I think that was the case for everyone that brought alt arts and anyone who organized, special games or anything. And just, it's because of these the organizers, KennedyHawk, Cone, Mag, Americano, all them, that this got started. But I think it's growing every year kind of exponentially because everyone else gives almost just as much, and it's just awesome to see.
Yeah, it's one of the things I love about this community is that welcoming, that giving spirit that never really goes away. We like to come together and pretend that we're superheroes and work well together, and we've created a community that engenders that kind of spirit of cooperation and individual heroism, which I think is really lovely.
Yeah, we're playing a cooperative game about heroes. You hope there aren't too many jerks in that group.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Honestly, not one.
Well, I'm finding all of this a bit too mushy for a podcast about the so-called villains.
Oh man, I got to play with Enchantress again. One of the last games we ran was a classic Loki with Enchantress, and I missed her so much. Oh my goodness, she's so rough to play against, and I had missed that.
She really, really is.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm sure KennedyHawk is going to be on this at some point tonight, and I can't wait to hear him talk about all the good work he did for the villains. I wasn't able to be in those games, but I heard across the room some reactions to them. I won't say more to let him tell the story, but I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, he's in the next group. He's coming up next.
Oh, there's a little tease for you. There you go.
There you go, folks. Well, thank you to all four of you for coming on and talking about the con. Thank you for being at the con, for the snacks, for the games, for the friendship. Thanks so much. And, see you next year at the con. Maybe sooner. I really am not that far away from you guys. I need to make a trip down, stay a little bit here, and play some games. So
You always say that, you tease.
I do say that all the time. I do want to do it. It's difficult with 3 kids and, everything else. So.
Well, now I've heard it. So me and Chris have heard it now too. So now we're going to hold you to it.
Okay, let's do it.
And still have those kidnappers on speed dial.
Oh, good. All right, and with that, let's see you, everybody.
See ya. Hail Carnage.
All right, we are back with our final segment. We have saved the best for last. We have with us 2 of the hosts of Con of Heroes, as well as Scott, Lexicon, one of our elite minions. Hi, Scott. How's it going?
It's going good. Sad to be home and yet happy to be back.
All right, well, we have with us the celebrities. Hone. Hi, Hone. How's it going?
Pretty good. Did you make it back safe? It sounds like it.
I made it back. Yeah. No problems. And our final guest with us tonight, it's the Kennedy of Hawks. It's Mr. KennedyHawk. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great. We're surviving. It's only a few days out. Still recovering.
Still recovering. Did you guys stay till Monday or did you go home Sunday? I went home Sunday.
I went home Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I also went home Sunday.
Okay, so we all went home on Sunday. So for some people, they've only been home for like 2 days. All right, let's get to it. Con of Heroes 2025. Big success from what I'm hearing from everybody who attended as a guest, from the community. What do you guys think as folks who put it on? Big success? Total failure? Somewhere in the middle? What do we got?
I think the best one yet. That's my opinion. Biggest one yet. Most games played yet. Most engagement from the game creators. So I think this is the first year that I didn't walk away saying, I wish that one thing didn't go wrong. So that is awesome for me.
Yeah, I'll echo similar sentiment. I think just talking about numbers, right? I feel like year 1, 4 years ago, didn't know if this was going to be a thing. We had 70 to 90 people, somewhere in that range.
I think 70 tickets.
Yeah, something like that. And we're now we sold 160 tickets this year. And if you count organizers plus FG staff and other folks, like we were in the 170, 180 range, I think, of people there at the con. So over double in 4 years feels pretty good.
Yeah, that's impressive. So I did see a few people sneaking in, like they came in through the air ducts, so they were hanging out. The numbers might even be higher. So
You say that as a joke, but I was browsing the store while I was talking to my kids, and there was somebody that had bought Marvel Champions last week, and they were buying all the campaign boxes at the front counter. So I convinced them to come back the next day, and they just played with everybody else. We didn't have any more swag for them because we were out, but they got to play all day, even though they had just learned the game. So that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, good on them, good on you.
So we did sneak someone in the air ducts.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I approve. So you guys are setting stuff up, and you're running the events, and you're working the booths and things. Do you get to play games? Like, how many games do you think you guys got to play? How many did you actually sit down and play? Do you think?
I played 15 games. I counted. I track all my games,
Okay.
And I had to put in the extra hours over past midnight to kind of get those games in. But that's what you're here for, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talked to somebody earlier tonight, and they maybe only got in 15 games, and they, they're all 4-player games and that sort of thing. So 15 doesn't sound too low.
I did
And-
have a few 2-player games in there, but I will say most. I think 10 of the 15 were 4-player and 5 were 2-player.
What about you, Dan?
I got 21 games in, but only 5 of mine were 4-player and 12 of mine were 2-player. So, a lot faster of games.
You get to play with a bunch of different folks. 2-player games. I played a couple in order to get games in with other people.
Yeah, exactly. Still not as many as I wanted to get games in with, but you can do what you can do.
Scott, I don't want to leave you out of this. I know we played some games, and then at one point I'm like, "Where's Scott?" And you were off playing. You know, you left Mike and I. You like outgrew us. Yeah,
we gotta spread the love, right? Meet new people, try to recruit new minions.
He's an ally
It's
now.
important.
He's not a minion anymore.
What? He's off the
No,
show.
I'm a minion.
Okay, good.
If I'm an ally, I'm Grant Ward.
Okay. Approve.
So, no, yeah, I think I played about 15 games. I think that's how many I did. But I think I only played the 1 2-player game with you, Steve. Everything else was a 4-player game and maybe 1 3-player game.
Okay.
So some of them were long.
Did you guys lose it all? Do we have any villain victories out of this group?
It depends on what you call losing.
Not winning.
Not winning. What do you mean?
So I lost 5 games. I think you had a little survey about how many times the villain won.
Mm-hmm.
But in all 5 of those games, I played like a traitor deck where I was trying to get the villain to win.
I was going to ask you about that.
So technically, I won all my games.
Yeah, tell people about that deck you brought with you.
Is that the Spider Woman deck?
Yeah, I brought this Spider Woman deck that was, oh my gosh, what aspects was it now?
Protection and aggression.
Protection
right?
and aggression.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would summon minions and things like that, and then put pin down on them and bring it so it looks like a normal Spider Woman deck. But then it has all sorts of sneaky cards where there's words missing from them, like First Aid from the core set just says heal 2 damage from a character. So I could tough like a Thunderbolt minion with Pericles, and tough Citizen V, and then I could heal a Thunderbolt's minion, and that was when I would reveal myself as the extra mole from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And every time, people were very shocked, and then they got really into it. And one time I got to play on the other team, so I guess I technically lost 1 game, but I was cheering for Spider-Woman the whole time. And she dismantled us. It was just complete chaos. So yeah, I think First Aid, Pericles, you can like stun a hero and tough a minion, which really sets them back.
You can use Night Nurse to remove a tough.
You can use Night Nurse to remove a tough.
Yeah.
I killed 7 players with Rogue because she deals a damage to a friendly character, and they got down to 1. And then I'd reveal myself and say, I think Quicksilver's dead.
I love it. So villain victories 5.
Villain victories 5 from me. You're welcome. And counting.
I'm very disappointed that I didn't play this deck at all this convention.
We should play it on stream on Octagon.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll break the interface, but we could try.
Yeah, we could do it. That's awesome.
The only loss I had was with KennedyHawk in our 2-player game on Thursday.
And he was playing Spider Woman.
He was not playing Spider-Man. Woman.
He was.
We were
not
actually trying to win. Yeah.
Hawkeye? Was it Hawkeye?
No, I think I actually got knocked out. I was playing as Black Widow, and we just had a rough setup, and I just got mauled on was it even turn 1? It might have been turn 1 or 2.
I think it was turn 1. Something happened where you got attacked 3 times, and I had said I was going to stay in Alter Ego and had no allies, and I was like, well, Black Widow's dead.
Yep.
This is bad.
Yep. So we scooped instead of having Dan play the rest of the game solo.
Yeah, any game I was in where one hero died, the table scooped. Nobody played on. It wasn't like, well, we might still win this round. Like, if that was the case, I think people would have played a round, maybe 2. But it was pretty much like, oh, we're 3 rounds into this game, we're done. So,
yeah, I think that's just a general policy when I play too. Is you don't want a person to sit out, but if it's literally one more round, a lot of times you'll just finish the round, right?
Gotta finish it out. Yeah.
People stuck it out against Spider-Woman. They wanted to see if the rest of their team could outwit her.
Pull it through.
Yeah, that's a different. I like that. So, let's talk about some of these custom con cards you guys made, right?
Oh yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a little more input this time, so if they're terrible, you can blame me.
You heard it, folks. It's Hone's fault if you didn't like them, and it's Hone's fault if you did like them. So
yeah,
let's talk about the challenge cards first. Who comes up with the challenge cards, and why were they so great this year?
Well, we flip flopped this year. So thank you. I came up with the challenge cards this year, and I love that you think they were great because I heard they were very. I heard they were very hard. So
that's why they were great.
So yeah, I mean, I think Hone talked about this. We talked about this at the con, and you talked about how you have to really study the villain and sort of figure out what mod sets go well with the villain to like cause problems for them. And then the conditions or challenges part is just something we tinker with and test at least once or twice. Not always at 4 players, so sorry. But the intention is that those could act like a randomizer card. So if your group can't decide what to play, they could pull a random one and say, we're going to play Sandman. If you decide to do the condition, you can do it, or you can just use it to pick the card. And my favorite thing from those cards, and someone called me out on it, was for the card Business Savvy for Risky Business. I used Comic Sans font because it's the ugliest, grossest thing ever. And somebody called me out for using Cosmic Sans font. Cosmic, yeah, whatever. I can't talk.
For using that
Comic
font.
Sans font. And it was on purpose to make fun of the business savviness of the card.
That's awesome. I really like the Risky Business one. It definitely made you rethink, how and when and why you flip Osborne.
Did you not just play Shadowcat?
Did not just play Shadowcat. I'm not that cheaty of a hero when I play heroes. And then we played the sand. We when we did the campaign, we used the challenge cards and did the campaign at the same time. And we ended up with so we played the Sandman scenario with the Sandman challenge card. Also very fun, but a little more difficult. And we ended up with the symbiote suit that did indirect damage as well at the same time, randomly. So that was a hard game.
That sounds like a lot of indirect damage.
It was a lot of indirect damage. So the campaign this year, right, was sort of these suits and stuff. And we talked about some of that in a pre-show. We've said everybody seemed to really like that we've had on. Who had their hands involved in that? And tell us about how that came about.
I think it was a little bit of both of us. We brainstormed a couple different ways to do the campaign. At one point, it was going to be like a set of Sinister Six minions that flipped and gave you buffs, similar to the Danger Room campaign from last year. But we wanted to make something where players could choose how many missions they wanted to do. If they only wanted to do 2, they could do 2. If they wanted to do 4, they could do 4. And then at the end, with the amount of cards you can fit into a pack, we only had 3 cards left. So we said, well, you know what? There's 3 of Carnage's Offspring. So we'll turn it into that and figure out a way to make the effects we've been tinkering with work out. And I think it worked out pretty well, although they're a little clunky and wordy sometimes.
That's probably the hardest part of, I think, all the design is getting the words to be streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, did you play campaign?
We did. We only got about through 2 games of it. The first game we played was with Kang, and we lost twice with we had the indirect damage on once, and we lost to damage. Then we had the insight one, and we lost to that. The hazard one. We lost to insight and hazard. We ended up surviving to the indirect damage. But yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed the having the suit, like the way it kind of amps up. It's kind of like adding one of Mr. Sinister's like flight or brute strength or something, where that you've got that extra added element to the encounter deck and to the villain. And I really liked the scenarios that you came up with, KennedyHawk, like being able to say, hey, here's, we're going to play Norman Osborn, who's usually not that hard, but hey, here's these added pieces. They're going to make it a lot more challenging and really make you think about what you're doing here. And if you need to remove threat, then you're going to need to flip him, or you're going to need to have a way to thwart past a crisis. So it was really fun. It made those encounters a lot more challenging. And we lost twice before getting a win on that first encounter. So it was great.
I love those villain wins. That's right.
Exactly. Well, and it gives you something to fight against. You're like, oh gosh, okay, how are we going to do this? We ended up mixing up heroes so we could tackle more threat, and it was really good.
So there's a lot of swag and alt arts and all that kind of stuff going around, which was awesome to see the community come out and just like do that kind of stuff. You guys gave out all these cards, the scenarios, the campaigns, the challenge cards, but then you also organized this raffle. Where does all the stuff on the raffle tables come from? Because there's a lot of neat stuff on there. And how do you go about making sure that you have kind of the right amount of stuff? How'd that go?
Being really lucky is the answer. No, the answer is that the community is super awesome, right? So I brought a suitcase of stuff, and we left some stuff in Minneapolis because the local game stores here will donate things like hero packs, and my local comic store will donate comic books, and we have a couple old playmats and things like that. But a lot of things people brought to the table. Like I know Discord user Corbin came and donated some of his alt arts, and Astrodar came up and donated some 3D printed tokens that he had made. So we got all sorts of donations from the community, whether it was a hero pack or a cool thing they made, and that's what filled up the table. Somebody even printed this giant 3D storage solution box. So
Yeah.
Yeah, most of that is community donated, which is awesome. And that was what the original intent was to be, was that like we would seed the prizes the first couple years, but encourage people to bring something, even if it's just a set of card sleeves from your store. Everybody uses Dragon Shields and is happy to get a set of Dragon Shields or whatever card sleeves they use. So it was really cool. I think all throughout the first day, I felt like every 10 minutes someone walked up to me and was like, here's a bag of stuff. So it was just enough for everybody to still have choices and for us to have a few things left over to seed the pot for next year.
Yeah, we also were lucky too because Mary Wasteland Sniper actually talked to the Tesseract Dvader folks about wanting Dviders for Con of Heroes content, and I guess Nick over there Lily like mailed to her, who then she was going to come but couldn't end up coming at the last minute, and ended up mailing us basic dividers to put in the raffle as well. So we even have, I guess, like, you know, people in the community, vendors that are donating stuff as well, which is fun.
Yeah,
I saw those up there and I was like, I just placed my order. Darn it.
Yeah, the top-up pack just came out for this year's con too. So
today on this recording day.
Say that again. What just came out?
The 2025 Con of Hero dividers.
Oh, the Tesseract.
Yeah, the Tesseract ones. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I got it. Maybe
Yeah.
I can get it on my current orders, so I don't have to pay extra shipping.
Yeah, and then we seeded some stuff too. Speaking of swag, like one of my pet projects that was secret was getting those Carnage tokens, and I snuck in an order of some of the Con of Heroes hero boards as part of that because we were paying for the shipping anyways. And so I know those were also a hit for the raffle.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, speaking of tokens, so we got the really nice heavy duty Carnage poker chip for like first player.
Yep.
That's great. It's such a good feel to it. And you know, you've been doing that for every year. Really enjoying those. And then those, where they buy the same tokens with a little Carnage on one side and Con of Heroes on the other. Those are pretty neat. I liked getting those. I was using them as like, did I use my special ability or not tokens? Because I use burger tokens, so I don't have player boards and all those things, but those tokens were pretty cool.
Yeah, especially at a con, I see a lot of people, like, when you're exhausting your cards, your board state gets really, like, messy, but they were using them as, like, exhausted and ready tokens. So exhausted meant Carnage was out, ready meant the Con of Heroes side was out. Then they, like, wouldn't mess up their board state while they were playing. I thought that was really creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there was a fun story around that. That we actually got those tokens, you know, for the Carnage event on Friday, but the tokens were stuck in customs for a week, and they literally got delivered that Friday afternoon during the FFG panel. And my friend, whose house we shipped it to, he got it then and then drove it over and got there like right before the start of the event. So it really came in like under the wire.
Right.
And yeah, and I started working on those in like January. Went through like a bunch of different designs and stuff with BTST, and it was like I think we're one of the first people who've been doing custom tokens with them, but it was a super fun process. But I learned a lot about the amount of detail you can put in a token.
Yeah, when you shrink it down to,
shrinking it down, and then
nicely.
just what they can do on the laser too.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. Well, they were really cool. So, do you guys have any thoughts on all these various events that sort of took place? There was a Loki event. There was a Ghost Spider event. That were sort of like community. Just did they pre-schedule those with you guys, or did they just spring them on you? Like, we want to do this thing, and
They mentioned them to us, and then we would announce them, and that was great. That's exactly what we want. Is we want this to be a community event. We try to schedule some events that first day to get the juices flowing, but then anytime someone wants to run an event, we're happy to announce it. And that's exactly what we want, is the community engaging with each other and popping off with little events and ideas where they want to play something together. So I know a couple people did like a Galaxy's Most Wanted, in Arkham they called an Iron Man campaign, where you play through the whole campaign in one sitting. So they did that at night on a Friday night. And we did the Kang multiverse event Saturday night with a bunch of people. So I think having those community-driven things where Hone and I, or Americano and I, or Mag and I aren't running the entire event, it makes my life a lot easier, and it makes me really happy to see community members getting to share the thing they want to do with everybody, which is super fun.
Nice, yeah. The hotel. So the hotel this year had more tables set up for us, like in the hall, in the pool. It's pretty great. I mean, there was more games going on at the hotel maybe than at the center. Almost.
Yeah, I counted one night, and there were 70 people playing games in the hotel at night, and there was no seats left. But that's a lot of people playing games until 3 a.m. or whatever foolish time we stayed up to. So we had that sort of side room, the Johanna room, where breakfast was the first couple days, and that was reserved for gaming after hours. And I think that worked out really well. It gave us a little bit of a more private space, so we're not all at that one table in the lobby. But they also set up those extra tables in the hallway, which I thought was super cool. We didn't even ask them to do that. I think they just saw us playing on the floor and said we should solve this problem before someone hurts their back and choose us or something. Yeah.
I think the minute the guys were setting up on the floor, the manager was like, "No, this can't happen." And there were other events at the hotel, and they still, accommodated us, and we tried not to be obnoxious. I think too obnoxious, at least. I did thank the guys at the hotel themselves, and they said, "Oh, you're always great. You guys come in, you're never any problem. Nobody's screaming or anything." So, kudos to the community for a good reputation with the hotel.
Good behavior. We love it.
Yeah. Geez, who would think a co-op heroic game people have good behavior?
Another thing that was sort of new this year is FFG got super involved with the con, and not super involved in organizing anything, but we had been in chats with them to figure out if we could do some sort of event with them, and they volunteered to do that awesome panel that they did. So I thought that was really, really slick of FFG and the card game team to come talk to some of their most passionate fans. A lot of the designers and other people from FFG hung around and played games all day Friday. Some came back on Saturday, some came back on Sunday. So I thought that was really awesome and really neat that we are organizing this in Minneapolis, because that's where Asmodee's North American headquarters is. And they have decided that it's an event worth them sending people to make sure they engage with the community. And I think that's not something that every game company would do. So I'm forever grateful that they did that.
Yeah, it speaks well for you guys doing the events, hosting this con, that they want to do that. So
yeah, I was super happy. I think in the past, they weren't really officially allowed to do anything with the con, so a lot of it was just people coming on their own, not affiliated with FFG, even though obviously they work there. And this was the first time that they were, I think, officially blessed. And in the Carnage Epic Multiplayer on Friday, I believe all 3 designers played in it, which was really cool, right? Here they are playing in custom content of our designs, which is, I feel like, humbling in its own way, right?
Our bad designs. It's embarrassing.
Exactly.
Well,
Like it's a good
very
sign when
cool.
you hand out errata already
Yeah, as
before
people
people
are
open decks. Yeah.
I played with Tony during that, and Tony Fanchi, and like every 12 minutes, somebody would be like, "Tony, what's the rule on this card? Tony, what's the ruling for this?" And sometimes people were asking the rules on your custom cards
I love
that
it.
he didn't make, right? And he looked at it and he go, "Well, I would play it this way," and like he wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything. Like, this is how I'm gonna play it if I get this card, and that was good enough for folks. But it was pretty interesting to be like, Tony didn't make these cards, man. Why are you asking him?
And
So,
that's what we want. Play
That's
the way that
funny.
makes it the most fun.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
I was at a table with Aaron and then Zach, the head playtester.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, like we were the head of the Great Web table where all the people would come up to tell us like information. And then people also come to ask questions, which was also great because it meant that I didn't have to roam around. It was just KennedyHawk that was roaming around, answering things. But it was funny watching Zach because people would ask questions and then he would just like nod his head. Like, yes, of course. I would answer the question. And then there was one time where I had to step away and he like gave someone a completely wrong answer.
I played with Zach last year during the epic multi game. So yeah, he's a fun guy. He's nice. We've had him on the show a few times.
My favorite.
I love how he
on...
role plays.
Yeah.
My favorite typo on all the cards is if people look at the Carnage villain, it says, in the first stage after he attacks and defeats an ally, place a cultist counter on the here to slay objective. And not a single person asked what that meant. They just instinctively knew it meant the environment card. But Lord of the Rings has objective cards, and Marvel has environment cards. But it's a typo straight there on the very first card of the pack you open. So I found that
that's awesome.
exceptionally funny. Every time I play it, I'm just like, oh, staring me in the face, and I can't fix it now. It's too late.
And did people ask you about it?
Not a single person
Not a
asked.
single-
I was so
yeah.
proud of everyone. They knew exactly the intent, and they did what they were supposed to do.
Nice. Well, you did give us 2 eroded cards right off the bat, and we looked at one of them. I played with Boomguy, Tony, and Eric, and there was one where like, oh, this is supposed to be the errata, and we could not, for the life of us, figure out what the difference was between the 2 cards. We're like, they're identical. The corporate has asked you to, point out the differences. We're like, they're the same card. So we just played with the one.
You want to hear the story behind that card? It's really funny.
Yeah,
I was actually live streaming and explaining the scenario in a YouTube video, and I had its main scheme 1B, and I had it up there. And if you look in the mountains at the bottom of it, you can see the watermark from the website we bought or commissioned artwork through. And I realized that the artist hadn't removed the watermark from the image he gave me. So I was live streaming talking about this, and I noticed it, and I was like, this is definitely placeholder art. I definitely didn't just place the card order like 5 hours ago. So we printed one without the watermark on there, and then when I got them, you can barely see it, so I felt a little silly on that one. But it's for the art. The art's important. And our artists are amazing.
I think it was the other card.
Oh, the ally has the wrong subtitle. So the words are different, but it's just theme. It's not not any rules or anything.
Maybe that's why, because we were just looking
There's
at the rules
two.
box.
There's 2 super stats. Allies when you need 1 super stats and 1 extra hands.
Yep.
Huh.
See, astute, loyal minions know this. I'm just kidding.
Indeed. Now we played that one, and we forgot to remove the setup card. So we didn't realize that it was supposed to come out at first, like that there was a setup card in the Cultists of Carnage pack, right? So that when you use it as a modular, the cultist can still get attached to the villain. It totally makes sense. But when I first saw it, like on round 2, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be out. And so we put it out, and we played with 2 cultists out for our game because we were flipping cultists onto both the environment once it flipped and onto the one for the modular set. And I realized when I was going through it when I got home, I was like, oh, we were supposed to set that aside. We didn't need to have both. But it was really fun. We had two cultists out for most of our game.
Maybe we should have done that for expert mode.
Yeah. I heard expert players needed a challenge. That's right.
Yeah.
We were playing expert. It was a challenge.
Good.
Dan, you were about to say how amazing your artists were. Yeah, great job on getting the art for the cards and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
So, yeah, well
Oh,
done,
yeah.
artists.
The
Very well
artists
done.
are so awesome. I write them like a 1-sentence prompt, and then like 10 days later they send me a sketch, and I'm like, somehow this is exactly what I imagined, even though I gave you no adjectives, and I was like a picture of Carnage doing a thing. Like they somehow make it perfect every time. So major props to them.
How many art pieces did we get this year?
Oh,
This is
it
definitely
was-
our biggest one yet.
It was like 50. It was a large number. And there's 5 pieces of unused art because they either came in too late or we ran out of card slots, so they'll probably get put into like a memory bank for a future year kind of thing. But I think it was like 50 this year, which is a lot.
Yeah,
Many,
you can
many
blame
pieces of
you can.
art.
Yeah, you can blame me for that. I wanted to do a scenario this year, and so we were talking about doing a scenario pack, and it just requires a lot more art than just doing mod sets.
Yeah, I think it was nice having a full scenario, not just a mod set. So,
What I learned is that FFG's job is real hard. It's not an easy job. They do
right, right. You think people will think of you think of 1 or 2 cool cards, and they're like, "Yeah, cool. I have this idea for 3 cards." No, you need 20 more. And they have to all work and be balanced, and you got to do all the text and the editing and the art and the production and yeah. So
Yeah, I got to spend some time talking with Tony about the challenges we had, and I felt like he was just chuckling at me the entire time. He's like, "Welcome to my life."
yeah, nice. Well, we've been talking like 30 minutes. Is there something else we should be talking about for the memories? Scott, you have any stories you want to tell? I know we've focused a little bit more on Hone and KennedyHawk here. You have any great games or wonderful losses or new friends you made? Anything odd like that you want to talk about?
All of the above. I think there were some fantastic games. That first night when we got there playing Mysterio, where Mike had set up the deck with Mysterio and what did he seeded what was the modular set we were using, Steve?
Was it Crazy Gang or Iron Spider Sinister Six maybe? Or something else? I don't track games.
It was something else.
I'm in the moment. Yeah, I can't remember now.
Anyway, it was fantastic. It was the first time I got to play Deadpool in a multiplayer setting, and that was hilarious. Like getting the obligation and not being able to talk, and having you and him and Tyler kind of like fooling around on my turn, like, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And I couldn't say anything, and that was really fun. I played an all protection game on, that was Saturday night, and it was spectacular trying to take out Black Widow and the amount of threat she puts on there with just a bunch of protection heroes. It just like there were so many great games. That was game after game after game, so good. And having a chance to kind of meet with a bunch of different people, some of them I've seen on Discord, and really get to connect with some folks was awesome. Like it was absolutely phenomenal being able to actually put faces to names and just connect and chat and hang out while we played this amazing game together.
What about the you guys? Hone, Dan, you guys have anything else you want to say? Talk about, comment?
Yeah, I mean, like quick favorite memories from me. I got to play with a lot of people that had never been to the con before or who were new. I played with one guy, I think his Discord name is Doc7, and his son, and that was a super memorable game for me because the kid was just so excited and passionate about playing a game and getting to play with people that he had seen on YouTube or that his dad had talked about from Discord. And he was constantly correcting our rules mistakes because we were all tired adults, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
Because I was like, please,
nice.
yes, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And then we all kind of had this silent agreement. I could tell that we were going to make sure he got the killing blow. And then we didn't even have to fake it. He called for an action and got the killing blow. We didn't have to like piddle around and make sure it got to his turn. So that was super exciting. And also meeting new people that hadn't been there before that may have had like some anxiety about meeting large groups or playing with people. I know the reason I ran around doing the cartage scenario is there was a player that was like the odd person out, and they were setting up a solo game, and I was like, no, you get to sit in a 4-player game, and I'll walk around while you play. And then I saw that, I think it was Ernest, that guy, like 3 or 4 times later throughout the convention, and we got to play together later too, so that was super cool. Because he had come not knowing anyone, so he didn't have a group yet, but I felt like the community as a whole was really good at like pulling new people into their games and making people feel welcome, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, to echo that, we had a couple people on this show who was their first time and they had some anxiety about coming, and they do not have that anymore. They had such a great time, and the community did such a good job of welcoming them, and that they're coming back. So
that's always so awesome to hear. I feel like when we put on something like this, you always hope that is true, but obviously you can't control it, right? Like, and so it's always nice to hear that is actually happening.
Yeah, it did happen. So,
and I guess the last thing we should say is that despite it only being 3 days since we all left Con of Heroes 2025, Con of Heroes 2026 planning is already underway.
So all right.
I know there were a lot of rumors about a location change, and we kept saying jokingly that we outgrew the space. And that's not a joke. If we sold more tickets, we'd be above fire code, so that would be bad. So Con of Heroes 2026 will happen. It will be in Minneapolis, potentially not in Roseville, but somewhere in Minneapolis, likely in the month of May. And hopefully we have more news on that in the next 30 days or so to let people know so that they can start thinking about vacations and flights and hotels and all those things, because it's going to be the 5th year, so we want it to be the biggest, best year ever.
Awesome. I'm excited. I mean, do my darndest to get there. So I think I have successfully convinced my wife I'm allowed to leave her with the kids and all this sort of stuff once a year. I don't think I could ever do it twice, but once we're good. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm humbled that people pick this con to spend their wife points on, or partner points of that kind, right? Yeah. Like taking the time to just spend the time and get away, and it's not cheap, right? To fly, especially like people flying from the UK and New Zealand and stuff. So always just kind of amazed that
Germany this year we had a new international traveler. It's always exciting.
Yep. There's that one guy from New Zealand that came in, and he brought his whole like villain board, that huge cityscape thing with him. I'm like, you brought it all the way from there? Like, I would have been terrified it got ruined the whole way. But yeah, I played with Drew. He flies from, takes him a day and a half. He leaves on a Monday and arrives on a Wednesday or something ridiculous, right?
Wow, I didn't realize he had to go that far.
It's something crazy like that because the day changes. So, yeah, seeing everybody from around is great.
What do you think his ratio of like con time for travel time?
Oh, it's a lot worse than some people, that's for sure. I don't know. I wouldn't want to guess. So,
well, we appreciate him being there.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys and Mag and Americano. So from me and the guys on this podcast, from the villains to the elite minions, all the way down to everybody in the community, let me say it for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for hosting, for putting it on, for taking your time out to do it, to taking the time to set it up, to taking time out to run the events while we're playing games and having a good time. I know there's probably things that you don't like about doing it that are just time consuming, or just, anytime you have to organize something, it can't all be perfect roses the whole time. So thank you from all of us. We very, very much appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, the thank you is awesome, but yeah, we do it because we enjoy seeing all of you enjoying the same game as us. So the one regret I always have every Con of Heroes is I don't get to play games with as many people as I want. And I remember the first year I was like, oh, there's 70 people. Maybe I can play with all of them. And I got through like half of them. And now it's just completely unmanageable. So I try to at least talk or look everyone in the eyes at least once. But playing with everyone sadly doesn't get to happen. But I'm going to try to rotate around each year and play with different people.
Yeah, you and I didn't play a game this year.
I'm actually really upset about it.
Me too. I don't know how that happened.
Go cry myself to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. So, all right. Well, thanks, guys. This has been great. Really appreciate you guys coming on and taking your time tonight to talk to us. Look forward to what you have in store for us for next year.
Well, it's wonderful to see everyone at the con. I hope to see you all again next year, and maybe some new faces as well. If you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Fardane, Big Foam Loaf, and Wandering Tooth. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Chimera, take us out. Flay him, my lambent beauties. Okay, Chimera, let's go! Con of Heroes, take us out.
Cut off one head, and 2 more will take its place.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Deer. I mean Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Howdy, Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra! Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
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 Hail Hydra?
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra!
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Hey guys, Jameson here. I wanted to get a Hail Hydra from the whole family, so here's the Jameson clan, and I hope you enjoy it, giving their own Hail Hydra. Hey honey, will you say Hail Hydra?
Whatever, nerd.
Okay. Say Hail Hydra, Otto.
Hail Hydra, Otto.
Alright.
Give us a Hail Hydra. Yeah, now in French. Good dog.